Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed educators, distinguished guest speaker, observers, and of course, our lovely participants from around the world. Welcome to the Education Revolution Summit with the team Fostering Effective Teaching Learning, Innovative Approach to Enhance Student Engagement and Achievement. It's an honor and privilege to be here. My name is Regina Delvika, and I'll be your moderator in this session. Today, education is the cornerstone of progress and the catalyst for societal advancement as we look to shape the future of our world. So it's imperative that we invest in our most valuable resource, our students. So today we have come together from all corners of the globe to delve into a diverse array of themes, seeking innovative approaches that will revolutionize teaching and learning for a generation to come. Our summit is centered around 15 subtopics, which is really going to represent a key facets of educational innovation, such as technology integration in the classroom, personalized learning, project-based learning, active learning strategies, and many more. So throughout in the next few hours, we will engage in thought-provoking discussion, exchange best practices, and collaborate on new ideas. So we aim to foster a dynamic and enriching environment where the collective knowledge and wisdom will empower us to create an educational landscape that serves the needs of every student, regardless of the background. And once again, I extend my warmest welcome to each one of you. So let us embark on this journey towards 2030 with open minds, compassionate hearts, and unwavering commitment to this journey. So now, please let me play our introduction video for this Education Revolution Summit.
मैंने ऊपर का दबा दिया।
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, now let me introduce our amazing organizer who is keep supporting and giving us the opportunity to really spread awareness about education and providing many researches. And yes, I'm going to introduce our organizer, the one and only International Internship University. International Internship University, or IIU, is a leading virtual education system and global brain confederation, which is the most valuable and trusted worldwide and well-reputed in delivering innovative programs. Globally, it's a trusted name for quality training programs and is committed to providing better and virtual education to all the young learners of the globe. IIU is metamorphosing the conventional education system by cutting down the additional costs and providing access to more than 1,000 courses and internships to their e-learners across the globe with the help of its 1,000+ global educators. In a short span of time, IIU has spread its wing in 195 countries and 6 continents under the strong leadership of its visionary founder, Mr. Piyush Pandey, sir. Well, I think, yeah, we are so lucky today. We are in a good platform, and it's always a pleasure and honor to be part of IIU. Now, I'm inviting our project director to give an opening speech. Please welcome my dear Professor Dr. Esther Mala from Malaysia. She is a soft skill trainer, international Toastmaster, educationist, Macadamic Golden Award winner 2022, parenting coach, child and youth development coach. Welcome, my dear. Dear, you are muted.
Thank you, Ambassador Hardiana. Thank you for the warm welcome to all our guests. Today, our topic is fostering effective teaching and learning, innovative approaches to enhance student engagement and achievement. Dear global audience, ladies and gentlemen, the founder of IIU, Mr. Piyush Pandey, COO of IIU, Dr. Snika, distinguished guest speakers, Professor Nada, Dr. Inga, and respected guest observers, esteemed educators, and future leaders. A very warm welcome again to all of you to this insightful, extraordinary webinar on fostering effective teaching and learning. I am delighted to see such a diverse and enthusiastic gathering of speakers and educators, united by our shared passion for transforming education and empowering our students for a brighter future. This is my second summit for the year, which marks a pivotal moment in our collective journey to reshape the landscape of education, armed with innovative strategies and creative pedagogies that amplify student engagement and drive academic achievement. As we stand at the crossroads of new possibilities, it is essential to embrace change and leverage the power of technology and cutting-edge approaches to inspire and nurture our learners. In the rapidly evolving digital age, traditional methods of teaching are no longer sufficient to meet the dynamic needs of our students. Learners today are more interconnected, information savvy, and driven by an innate curiosity to explore the world around them. To cater to these modern learners, we must cultivate a learning environment that stimulates their inquisitive mind and allows them to actively participate in their educational journey. During this transformative webinar, we will explore a multitude of innovative approaches that promise to revolutionize the teaching and learning experience. From augmented reality and gamification of project-based learning and personalized education, we shall delve into these groundbreaking tools that holds the potential to break barriers, unlock untapped potential in our classrooms. While we embrace technology as a catalyst for change, let us remember that at the heart of this transformation lies the power of educators. The unwavering dedication, passion, and empathy of our teachers form the cornerstone of effective learning. By combining these human qualities with cutting-edge methodologies, we can create a harmonious symphony that resonates with every learner, fostering a love for learning that extends beyond the confines of a syllabus. This webinar also provides us with a unique opportunity to learn from each other's experience and best practices. As we share our success and challenges, we strengthen our collective knowledge and elevate the standards of teaching and learning in our institution and communities. Throughout the course of this event, I encourage all participants to actively engage in commenting, ask questions, and foster a spirit of collaboration. Let us seize the moment to inspire and empower one another, transcending borders and backgrounds, to create an educational ecosystem that truly prepares our students for an ever-changing world. Before we proceed, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to all our esteemed panel of speakers, observers, experts, and participants who will generously share their expertise with us. Your insight and wisdom will undoubtedly enrich our understanding of innovative approaches to enhance student engagement and achievement. In conclusion, I urge all of you to embrace the possibilities that lie ahead, to nurture the seeds of creativity and curiosity to our students, and to unlock the immense potential and resides within of them. Together, let us embark on this remarkable journey of transformation as we shape the future of education and leave an indelible impact on lives of generations to come. Thank you, and let us begin this remarkable webinar on fostering effective teaching and learning through innovative approaches. Let us quest for knowledge and excellence begin. Thank you.
Thank you so much, my dear, for your wonderful opening speech. Now let me share a video to get to know our lineup of speakers and observers for today's session, because we got really amazing personality with us. Okay, I think we got some glitch here with connection problem, but okay. So yeah, as you have seen, we got so amazing lineup for speakers and observers, and I do really sure that our participants are ready to learn from them, because we got so many diverse topics in today's session. But before we start, I'd like to announce our rules in today's session. first is please mute your microphone unless it's your turn to speak, because we need to ensure that a clear distraction-free environment, and please also keep your microphone muted. So this will help the minimize background noise, okay? And also encourage all the speakers and observers in the Zoom keep their cameras turned on throughout the webinar, because yeah, this will help create a sense of community and support for the speakers. And however, we understand that there might be a situation where you might need to turn off their cameras temporarily, but please make sure you turn on your camera. And as we expect to foster a healthy and respectful environment for professional growth, so I do really expect all participants in Facebook Live to engage in respectful and professional behavior throughout the webinar. So please be mindful of your comment and questions and avoid any language or behavior that may be offensive. And yeah, the most important thing is each speaker has a maximum of 10 minutes for their speech or presentation. So to ensure a smooth flow of the webinar and give every speaker an equal opportunity, I will have a timer from my screen. So you can see that there will be a running timer on my screen, just in case you might confused whether you reach the time or not, because I am not going to cut off your speaking or your presentation. So please be mindful enough about the screen timer that I'm going to share. And yeah, in
Demo,
today's
dear, sorry, dear. Can you
Yes.
demo the timer? Can you demo the timer so they can see?
Okay.
Is it possible?
Wait, I'm trying to check it right now. Wait, it's loading.
Oh, okay.
We will have 10 minutes for each speaker, and also a minute, 30 seconds to 1 minute for the observer. Okay, if you can see in my screen, there's a running timer, right? The duration will be 10 minutes, so please be mindful for it, because I'm not going to cut off directly. So it's not going to be nice actually, okay? So please pay attention to the timer on the screen. And to the observers, we are really appreciate your presence, because yeah, we want to really make a healthy session, right? So we really expect, and first of all, congratulations and thank you so much for being here with us, even from the last session. So last thing, okay, the reminder for the participant, don't forget to fill up the Google form in the chat box in the live session on the Facebook. So I hope the rules are clear enough. So without any further ado, let's welcome our first speaker that has been joining with us since the beginning. We are having an amazing personality with us right now from India. She is Professor Dr. Richa Ranjan. She is a Director, Principal, and Dean SDDLC from Law of College Pankula. Welcome, Professor Dr. Richa. The stage is yours.
Yeah, but her observer caught in the traffic jam. Dr. Mehre.
Thank you.
So I think Toastmaster Shyama, maybe you can be her observer. Yeah?
I'll be, sure.
She's champion, that's why I call her. Okay, the Professor Doctor, you can go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thanks, Dr. Esther and Professor Nada for such a beautiful summit. And I've seen Dr. Esther working very hard for this summit within short span. Yeah. And very rightly said, Dr. Esther, power of educator creates harmony symphony. Yeah. So today my topic is introducing technology integration in classrooms, which enhance learning experience. Yes, it enhances the learning experiences for students. Technology offers various tools and resources that can engage students, promote collaborations, and facilitate personalized learning. So let's discuss what are the few points which will encourage them. First is it promotes interactive learning. Yes, technology provides interactive learning experience through multimedia resources such as videos, simulations, virtual reality, and these tools can make abstract concept more tangible and engaging, increasing student understanding and retention. and it is easily access to information. The internet and digital databases offer vast amounts of information that can be accessed instantly. Student can conduct research, explore different perspectives, and access up-to-date information to deepen their understanding to the particular subject which they are willing to study. And it's kind of really personalized learning. Technology allows for adaptive learning experiences tailored to individual students' needs. Educational software and applications can provide personalized content, track progress, and offer immediate feedback, enabling students to learn at their own pace. And next point, which is main, collaboration and communication. Technology tools like video conferencing, online discussions board, collaborative platforms enable students to connect and collaborate with peers beyond the physical classrooms. And this fosters teamwork, communication skills, as we all are aware as working as team. So students also, they also form teams over there, teamwork, communication skills, and the ability to work with diverse groups, idea sharing, feedback exchange, preparing them for real world collaborations. And multimedia presentations. Students can use technology to create multimedia presentations combining text, images, audios, videos, and this not only enhances their creativity and presentation skills, but also helps them communicate their complex ideas more effectively. And one thing which Dr. Esther also told about gamification. Yeah. Educational games and gamified learning platform can make the learning process enjoyable and engaging. By incorporating game elements as challenges, rewards, and competitions, technology can motivate students and make learning fun experience. And next to what is assessment and feedback, which is the necessary point. Feedback is necessary because technology offers various assessment tools such as online quizzes, interactive assignments, and learning management systems, which provide immediate feedback to students and teachers. And what happens? This allows for timely intervention, personalized guidance, and data-driven instructions. And remote and blended learning is the main thing. Kind of technology integration has become especially crucial during periods of remote or blending learning, as it enables students to access education materials, participate in virtual classrooms, and collaborate with peers and teachers regardless of physical location where they are sitting, where they belong to. Inclusive education. Technology can support students with diverse learning needs. It provides accessibility features such as text to speech, closed captioning, and screen magnifications that cater to students with disabilities, ensuring an inclusive learning environment. Real-world connections. Technology integration enables students to connect their classroom learning to real-world applications. They can engage in virtual field trips, communicate with experts in different fields, and explore current events, fostering a deeper understanding of relevance and practicality of their learning. And last, what I can say is global connection. Technology breaks down geographical barriers, allowing students to connect with peers and experts from around the world. This is the technology due to which we all are collected over here. So same thing is over there. We all are having experts from each and every field. So that's the thing over there. Virtual exchange programs, video conferencings, online collaborations, platform foster cultural understanding, global awareness, and the development of communication skills. Now, I have discussed about all the points, but some says these are positive points. But we'll come to the other side of the coin. Some says it is disruptive technology. Disruptive technology, as now everything depends upon technology only. And now I'll tell about few pros and cons. What is the pros? Using technology can excite young students, and cons are can distract students. Other pros is it prepares students for future, and opposite is it removes students from the opportunities for socialization. So they'll be facing other side of the board. And next pros is technology encourages spontaneous learning. And what is the con of this? Can discourage creativity, as many technology-based games and activities are pre-made, and as they allow children to complete activities without having no problems. Where some games have problem-solving skills, selection should be fair. So there must be balanced approach to education, fun but informative. Both must be balanced, fun but informative. Technologically but hands-on, modern yet traditional. Both should be balanced, modern plus traditional. So striking the perfect balance so that our dedicated and professional educators help nurture your child's social and emotional development, all in safe and nurturing environment. Am I having time or not? I'll continue. Still 2 minutes are there, I think.
Yeah, I think 1 minute 37
1 minute is there. Yeah, I'll sum up. So by incorporating modern technology such as machine learning and artificial intelligence in higher education, educators can develop more engaging, creative, innovative teaching material to hold the attention of students. In today's rapidly changing world, technology has become an integral part of our modern education. The use of technology in schools has revolutionized the way students learn and teachers teach. It has made education more accessible, engaging, and interactive, creating endless possibilities for both students and teachers. And thank you. Only one point I'm saying is, some says it is disruptive technology. I say no, this is helping us. It is helping us. Thank you.
Yes. Wonderful, wonderful. Professor Dr. Richa, thank you so much. I shall call upon our Toastmaster, Shyama, to give your feedback.
Yes, thank you very much, Professor Esther, for calling me for our eminent speaker today, Professor Dr. Richa. That was a fantastic speech. Because actually, you have introduced very well your topic initially, that you are going to speak on the technology and how we can use technology to engage our students in active learning, right? Because you mentioned many points. It promotes children's creativity and their thinking level, and through different, and it's not just a one pack, it has many things. They can connect globally with their peers and experts and learn, at the same time share things, right? And gamification, you said games we can be used to enhance their learning, right? So, and the most important part that you mentioned here is it creates a fun and learning fun, right? So they learn with much motivation, because with these graphics and the pictures, text and all, it creates such an environment. They won't even realize how well the lesson has gone, or they have taken. And you also mentioned many points like collaborative learning, and it enhances children's many things, like it can be tailored to individual needs even. So these things are very, very powerful points you mentioned. And you said that it also helps students to enhance their social and emotional well-being even, right? That is also an important part of students' learning. So those are the most important thing that you mentioned. And also you did not forget to mention the flip side of it, that many people would say that it is not a destructive way, right? So it's all in how we use it. So it's not like blindly we give everything on and technology, believing in technology, but you very beautifully mentioned that we have to strike the balance between the modern teaching with technology and as well as the traditional teaching. So that was a very beautiful point, and amazing point today that I noticed. Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Richard. Over to you, moderator Diana.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for wonderful feedback, and of course, congratulations and thank you for amazing speech by Professor Dr. Richard Ranjan. Now I'm going to call our next speaker from India, an amazing lady with us. Welcome, Dr. Supriya Pathak. She is an assistant professor, Faculty of Management and Commerce Department in Oriental University, Indore. Welcome, Dr. Supriya Pathak.
Well, you also mentioned the observer. You can also mention the observer's name, so they'll be reminded. Yeah. So Dr. Supriya Pathak, your observer is Dr. Supriya Kumaravelan. She's here. She's just next to you. Please proceed.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, dear. Thank you. So first of all, I would like to say congratulate the whole team of IIU to bring this beautiful concept in between us, among us. So thank you, dear Estara, for all your efforts. Thank you, dear Hadiana, for all your work you have put here to enlighten us with this beautiful concepts. So thank you very much. Just give me a moment. I am sharing my screen. Just hold on. So today I will share my views on flipped classroom. This concept is a very new, and actually this concept is very popular, very famous among all the educators as well as among all the enthusiastic learners and the students. So just take a look at what is the meaning of the flipped classroom. Just hold on. So today my topic is flipped classroom model, restructuring learning for the classroom interactions. So I am Dr. Supriya Pathak, the assistant professor in the Oriental University in Indore. So what is the flipped classroom? So definitely, if you want to interactive sessions, if you want to support the interactive learning, so the flipped classroom concept definitely will help you. So flipped classroom is not about just to flip the class. It's all about to encourage your students. It's all about to encourage an active learning environment. So I support in my classroom activities the active learning environment. So I follow the concept of flipped classroom. So here you can see the difference between the traditional classroom and the flipped classroom. In the traditional classroom, usually we write an assignment of 400 words and read chapters, right? And our students like this, in the picture shows, they just sit and see whatever is going on the blackboard. But in the flipped classroom, they watched the videos, they participated in the group discussion. So now what is the basic principle of the flipped classroom? So the traditional methods, we don't follow the traditional methods, which is just going on in our traditional classrooms. We just follow the methods which promotes the interactive sessions, which promotes the interactive learning. According to the basic principle of the flipped classroom, we are the educators. We are the facilitators of our students. We are the helpers of our students. So this is the basic principle of the flipped classroom. This method is well thought out before using and uses both summative and the formative assessments. Here I bring a beautiful video to understand the concept of the flipped classroom. So now let's watch the video.
We flew over the clouds and into the sunrise. Then Nanny took us into the
flipped classroom.
I hope the audio is audible. Yeah, thank you, dear Astara.
The flipped classroom allows students to review and engage with the lesson content prior to classroom time.
Although the sun and moon may seem similar in that they affect light and
With the
temperature,
support of the Lincoln-empowered curriculum, teachers can now quickly and effectively reverse the traditional learning environment and deliver a flipped classroom experience to all students. As a teacher using Lincoln Empowered, you can simply assign students content to read or a video to watch at home. When students come to class the next day, they can immediately begin practicing and applying the key concepts while you're there to support them. With the lecture out of the way, class time can be spent practicing or assessing learning objectives. When the Lincoln Empowered curriculum is delivered using the flipped classroom approach, students take learning into their own hands. Use this delivery strategy to identify learning gaps and promote peer collaboration. With Lincoln, you'll have time to give students the one-on-one interactions they deserve.
So this is the concept of the flipped classrooms. So again, I'm sharing my slides. Just wait a minute. Just hold down. Actually, just because of this video, my slides are destructing. Just hold down. Yes. So now we will talk about that what this concept of flipped classroom help you to felicitate your student, to make the sessions interactive, make your we can say that make your education skills more interactive. So this was the, I hope the screen is visible now. Yeah, okay, thank you very much. So now this is the basic principle of the flipped classroom. Now we will talk about, just hold on my slide. Yes, now there are many ways to flip the classroom. Following these ways, you can use this methodology. Don't think you have to make your own videos. There are much videos available, especially on YouTube. Like here, I just use a YouTube link to make you understand that what is the concept of the flipped classroom. Take a time to plan on what parts of your contained classroom flip. Not everything fits with flipping. Just remember this concept. Find help or a partner to work with to help you on this journey of flipping the classroom. You can make your students volunteers. If you want to inculcate, if you want to incorporate the concept of flipped classroom in your university or in your higher education institute. Find out what is the best way to access your students. Find a way to encourage students in the videos, not just listening. You have to choose that kind of videos which are more inspiring, which are more motivating. Here you can see that my photographs. Here are my students when we visit the Atal Incubation Center. Actually, these all photographs we have taken when we visit the AICT Idea Lab. AICT, that means All India Council for the Technical Education. Here you can see that my here is me, and here are my whole students, and I am taking sessions on the entrepreneurship and the innovation in the garden of the incubation center. Here you can see that my students are learning about the machine. So we have visited this incubation center, and my students learn about these kind of machines. These are the printers. This is another 3D printer. My enthusiastic student here, he actually want to learn that what is the process followed by this 3D printer. Here you can see that with the students, I am making the video of the interactive sessions. So you can actually allow your students to go outside the classrooms, to go outside the higher education institute, outside the university, to take the lessons from the practical environment. What kind of problems you have to face? We don't know what to do with the extra time when we have no lectures. Actually, how we teach changes considerably. We have to focus on that. Time is needed to develop the videos and discussions, well as activities that will be done in the classrooms. Definitely, we have to pay attention. We have to pay more time to find out these kinds of learning videos, to do what you want with the time in the classroom, enough to help teachers know what to do. So here you can see that this is the particular model of the flipped classroom. In the flipped classroom, you have to focus on the reflective videos. You have to focus on the demonstrations and applications. You have to encourage students about the experimental engagement. You have to focus on the concept explorations. So the here is all about the model of the flipped classroom. Now, what is the difference between the traditional classroom and the flipped classroom? So here you can see that in the traditional classrooms, our lecture contents needs a time of 30 to 45 minutes. While in the flipped classroom, our focus on the learning plus experiments, our focus on the practical training, on the lab activities in the flipped classroom. So you can see that here we have to focus on the speaking languages. We have to make students busy. We have to help to the struggling students. We have to allow students to pause, and we have to focus on give them a synergy, give them a full enthusiasm about the learning. We have to also focus on the increase student-teacher interactions. So why you should not change? Because you think it is a cutting edge, because everyone wants interactive learning because everyone wants to have a more practical session in this ultra modern business world. So here, I, Dr. Supriya Pathak, I would love you to follow the concepts of flipped classrooms. I will be more happy if, being the educator, if you follow the concept of flipped classroom. So thank you very much. Thank you all of you. If you have any questions related to flipped classrooms, or if you want to inculcate, if you want to incorporate this concept of flipped classroom model in your higher education institute, so you can contact me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. A wonderful presentation. What a spectacular presentation. Your videos are really amazing, Dr. Supriya Pathak. Now I would like to call upon Dr. Supriya Kumaravelan to give her feedback as your observer. Thank you.
First of all, thank you so very much, Professor Esther, for rendering me this golden opportunity to be an observer in this education summit. And if I talk about Dr. Supriya Pathak's presentation, so I don't have any words because she has covered all the topics, all the basic things about flipped classrooms, and she has enlightened everybody's wisdom on traditional, about how to go. And I love that slide when she compared the traditional and flipped one. So awesome presentation, mind-blowing presentation. Keep soaring high, keep moving on. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear Supriya. Thank you very much. Actually, whenever I just see your face, I feel more energetic because you are just a pleasant speaker, dear, pleasant speaker. So thank you very much for this wonderful feedback.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
Thank you so much, Dr. Supriya Kumaravelan, for your wonderful feedback. Now, back to you, dear Ambassador Hardiana. We can call upon Dr. Kohila to be the speaker next, and her moderate, Dr. Sailaja to be her observer. Thank you. Diana?
Okay, now from India, we move to Canada. We are having with us right now Dr. Kohila Seva. She is an author, educator, math coach, learning success coach, and founder of Success Code. We are really excited to learn and get empowered by Dr. Kohila. And her observer will be Dr. Salija Vasudeva from India. Welcome, Dr. Kohila and Dr. Salija.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, Esther, for inviting me into this community. It's been awesome. We know each other almost, 2-3 years now? No, 4 or 5 years. I don't even know. We can't count. But thank you for everything that you do. And thank you for the IIU for having me as a guest. So my topic today is on personalized learning. And can you guys see my presentation? Yeah, awesome. So let me also get my other slide. Sorry, 1 sec. Okay, you can see still my slide, right? Yeah, we're good. So why did I choose this topic? Because this is very dear to me, because when I was an educator 11 years ago, I left the position to start my own learning success coaching academy. This is what I do now. And I train teachers under this because this is what I was craving in the classroom. I wanted to deliver students the personalized learning environment, because what personalized learning is, first, let me tell you that is, you all probably know, is tailoring the learning experience to meet the uniqueness of the child and the interest of the child and the ability of the individual learner. Because when we're in a traditional classroom, the problem is, as a teacher, we use one size fits all design, where we are not addressing to the needs of the child. And now over the years, our students demand one-on-one attention. They're not all the same. So we created this model of education a long time ago when it was in the Industrial Revolution time, where we needed to produce similar workers for the workforce. But our students are now more diverse. They know how to ask creative questions. They're thinkers. So we need to change the education system, but we haven't been able to adapt as fast as the world is changing. So that's why this personalized education has been implemented in some of the schools. It's following that individual path. What does the student like to learn? What are their abilities? Can they focus on more of what interests them in the areas of their interest? So when a teacher is able to bring this into the classroom, the classroom it's a better environment because the kids are more interested in what they're learning. But is it possible? That's another question. But this is what we're trying to do within the classroom. And also, when you have the individualized learning, you can differentiate. As a teacher, you can differentiate within the classroom to fit the learning ability. And also, as I said, the interest is the most important thing. When it comes to individualized learning, is to letting the child lead. And the best way to do it is based on project-based learning and their learning style. But is it possible is the question that I want to raise in this whole presentation. Teachers try very hard. I have many hundreds of teachers that try very hard in the classroom to differentiate, but unfortunately we have 30, sometimes 28 kids or more within a classroom, so it becomes a sometimes harder job than it is. We can all say it, but is it there yet in the education system? Not quite. We're trying. So that's the thing, right? We have to start somewhere. The other part of individualized or personalized education is, instead of being teacher-centric, it becomes the learner-centric model. This approach is so important and vital to where our students are in learning right now in the world, because we're giving the power back to the student. Therefore, they are motivated to learn instead of we're forcing them through textbooks and books and things that most students nowadays ask, why am I learning this? Because I can just watch YouTube to figure out all the stuff. So why are you making me memorize this? So sometimes as educators, we don't have answers for their creative questions like that. So this is another part of making it student-centric. Will help the students stay focused in the classroom, but we're not there yet. So there are lots of benefits of making a personalized learning situation. Number one is that the students are more engaged. Their academic outcomes are better because they improve on it, because they're not interested in what they're doing. They become more active in their learning instead of being a passive learner. And they also learn, lifelong learning skills and become an independent thinker. So there's a lot of benefit of really going for this personalized learning. But as I said, in the traditional classroom, we still have a problem to address this and implement it to the full effect that every teacher wants. Every teacher wants it, even administrators probably want it, but we can't implement it because there's too many students for one teacher. And as we are, going over this change with AI and all the new advancements, what's happening is there's too much speed that we can't even catch up to. So teachers that I speak to have a hard time making these changes. They want to make it individualized. They want to give them their students their choice and voice, but it's sometimes it's also dictated by the curriculum that we have and the testing that are mandatory in many of the countries and the states, or in Canada as well. So as I said earlier, I was a teacher 11 years ago. I left because I saw that I was not addressing to so many students, and I was failing many students, and that left me not happy when I went home. So what I created is a Learning Success Academy. This is where I offer this personalized learning. This is what I wanted in my classroom, one-on-one or small groups, where we focus on number one thing. In order for personalized learning to work is we need to address the student's social emotional well-being. The connection and the care comes before content. So a lot of the times in the classroom, we're focusing on the content because it is driven by curriculum. So in my what I want to see in our education system is where we focus on the connection and care of the students and building relationship, and that is through addressing their social emotional needs. Then we need to address their cognitive needs and what is missing or where the gaps are. And then if we bring in the content, the students want to learn. They will they will receive our information way better. They're ready to learn. So right now, what's happening is we're telling students who are not ready to learn, we've pushed them content. So what our students are doing is they're pushing the content back at us because they see no point in learning many of the things that we're asking them to learn. So at Learning Success Academy, you know, as I certify more and more learning success coaches, this is our primary focus, is to create a relationship with the students so that, you know, they have the opportunity to, you know, bond with the educator or the learning success coaches, and then create an environment where they can look at personalized learning, they can explore their interest, they can follow their, you know, whatever they desire, and they can look up YouTube video. As the earlier speaker said, there's so many videos we can get our students to, and flip the classroom even, and make them an independent learner rather than, you know, making them sit in the class, listen to us, and then do an assignment or write a test and essays, which means nothing to them, and they don't want to be part of it. They are passively going through the education system. So if we can make our school systems, you know, give teachers the opportunity to implement personalized learning into their classrooms, which means that smaller class sizes, more help in the classroom. These are some of the things that teachers need in order to take this personalized learning to the, you know, the next level that they wish to have. Because every teacher I talk to, they want to do this, but they're not able to create that. And they try their best to differentiate their lessons, but we just have so many different learners now. We're, you know, I think even now the learning styles of, there must be more learning styles than the ones we already know, because our students are changing as we speak, and they're more creative than ever before. So my last point here is that build relationship first. So personalized learning comes through building relationship, showing them the care and connection first before content. So thank you, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation.
Wonderful, Dr. Kohila. What a brilliant sharing it is. I'm very sure everybody have benefited, excited about wonderful presentation. Today we are having more presentation. Well done. Thank you for all your efforts. Now I would like to call upon Dr. Sailaja Vasudeva to give feedback as an observer. Welcome, Dr. Sailaja.
Yes, very good evening, Esther ma'am. Thank you for inviting me as an observer, as a speaker. Thank you so much. And Kohila ma'am, your presentation was very nice. You explained each and everything very beautifully. And your slides regarding traditional teaching and student-centered teaching, it's that was wonderful slides, and I like your presentation very much. Many congratulations, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sailaja. Back to you, Ambassador Diana.
Okay, thank you so much. Dr. Koila, your presentation was absolutely amazing, and I'm sure people really like it. So now from Canada, we're going to go to Australia. We are having with us right now Dr. Mirela Tolakima. Apologize if I pronounce it wrongly. She is an award-winning engineer, entrepreneur, and energy and STEM diplomat. She is also a thought leader. Welcome, Dr. Mirel, and the observer will be Dr. Kahila Sivas from Canada. Welcome, please enlighten us with your knowledge.
Thank you very much. It's always a great pleasure to be on the IIU platform, and I want to thank Professor Dr. Esther for the invitation, and the team as well that brought this amazing event to life. And today I just want to share, my knowledge, my experience on the team-based and project-based learning, and how it actually, increased the engagement of the student. And what's going on is that, we live in a world that is, we are in the middle of the fourth industrial revolution, and which brings, a lot of challenges. we have all the uncertainty that comes with, being in that revolution. And people often, talk about being, in a VUCA world, VUCA standing for volatile, uncertain, and complex and ambiguous. And that's really the status of what things, how things are happening today, and with a lot of volatility. And our education system needs to follow if we want to build, the leaders of tomorrow. And it means that it is important that we make sure that the children actually acquire the right, skills, and also are able to, manage this volatility and these changes, which is not the case when we look at, a traditional education system, where it's more about, following traditional way, being more passive and not really taking into account, the different changes, and also, being able to make sure that the children are going to be able to manage those changes and challenges that are going to come to them. So it is about, so when I talk about team and project-based learning, it is about incorporating, those skills that are needed to navigate the fourth industrial revolution, which is a more, it is a more progressive type of method. And it is, it is about focusing on the things like teamwork, problem solving, and also really a lot of, making sure that we emphasize the curiosity and the sustainable growth for the student, instead of having something static, which is more about, training to get, to pass an exam, or training to get, a degree. It's more about, looking at the development as, a team, because we are, we will be called to collaborate in this type of environment, but also making sure that we can innovate, we can create all the time, because the complexity is just too much. So a lot of, a lot of the thing that, we're really looking for when we talk about this type of, the project-based and team-based, it's about, really looking at how we can get, the skills to be able to, solve complex problems, which mean critical thinking, creativity, being able to negotiate, talk to people. So people management is a key one. And also, the emotional intelligence that come with it as well, which is, when you interact with people, you need this emotional intelligence to be able to push your point and to be able to create the right rapport with the people that you interact with. So all those skills are very important. And also, being able to coordinate things and make decisions that are going to create, a positive impact. So all of this is really part of, what we really see when we work as a team. So and looking at things as a project, and just to bring you back a little bit on, what project-based learning is all about. It's really about looking more, cultivate the fact that it's not just what you need to know, attitude for the student, but more about how they can solve a problem that is meaningful for them, and really looking at creating the environment for them to work on a real problem that are meaningful to them, and really apply, all the different skills that I've just mentioned before, and really creating it, using project-based learning as a catalyst for, transforming the learning and helping the student to move from asking the question of what's happening, why, is it happening, and also, focusing on the how, which is the solution based, aspect of things, and not just take, the knowledge from their teachers and apply this knowledge. We want them to be dynamic. We want them to participate. We want them to use their skills. We want them to think. We want them to solve problems and get, experiences, and not just, be passive in what, just like what we see in most of, the different school system or any education system for right now. So really emphasizing the fact that the students have to work in teams, but they have to be also very proactive and be the one that are actually driving the thing, and have the teachers more as facilitators, and also as as coach or mentor in the process. So having them to guide them instead of giving them everything, the solution, and looking at things more on things that are right or things that are wrong. For this type of system, there's no really right and wrong. It's just about the skills that you bring and the solution that you are able to come up with as a team, as a group, as a community, and really work around that. So really, a different way to look at things. So we, in this VUCA world that I've mentioned before, it is about 5 things we have to engage, make sure that the student get interested by what they are doing. So engage them, create a system that's going to help them to explore. And so really get, hands-off activity that will deepen the understanding, and also get them to be able to explain with their own words, based on their own experience that they have. They can describe with their own words, and really help them also to elaborate and come with ideas that, that they can use for a broader context, and also get them to evaluate as well, because that's really the most important thing for them, to go through all this process, do something, bring a solution that they've created themselves, and be able to, evaluate them based on that, so that they can get, the best picture for that. So just, in the interest of time, it's really about making sure that our education system actually tie with what's happening, especially with regard to the fourth industrial revolution, which calls for, collaboration, teamwork, project-based type of, development, and really start to inculcate that to the children from the school, instead of, teaching them the way the way that we were teaching them were for the previous revolution, which were more about manufacturing and really more, a passive way of passing the knowledge to them. So I'm really calling for, the schools, the educators, to look at how they can really harness that into their school system, really create this environment where the children can take control of their own development, while being, coached, and while being, creating the environment, and really tie this development, this education, to real problems that are actually close to their heart, problems that they can relate to, and really get them to get engaged. And we've seen, there've been a lot of research actually on that, and we could see that, the fact that the children can relate to the problems, that their problems are real, they actually more engaged, and we see, their result improve, and their performance improve in everything that they do at school. So really calling for that, to really look at how we can make children work, together, and get through different situations that they can they can build on, to be able to grow and have, this, create this mindset of them always being able to look at how they can come up with a solution while working with other people, working with different entities, working with different stakeholders, and be able to grow in the process.
Thank you, Dr. Muriel. Thank you so much. What impressive and a powerful and an impact sharing. Thank you. Now I would like to call upon Dr. Kohila as the observer to give a feedback.
Thank you, Doctor, for sharing that. You know, as you were talking, I was just imagining a classroom functioning this way, where students are so engaged and their minds are turned on and they're actively involved in what they want to solve and figuring out and collaborating with the other students. You just painted so beautifully, elegantly, that how a classroom should look like for this generation of students. So I really, really loved it. And I also noticed how you mentioned so many different transferable skills that these students must develop within the classroom. But instead of we focus on, you know, passing the exam, students are focused on different, you know, that activity doesn't help them anymore because there's no transferable, it's just anxiety they transfer, right? So you beautifully, you know, really took us through each of those and, you know, cultivating that team mindset and collaboration. And I love the 5 E things that you said at the end: engage, explore with systems, and explain in their own words, and elaborate and evaluate. So amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kohila. Yeah, next we'll move on to our next speaker.
Okay.
Diana.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Muriel, for your amazing speech. It was really insightful for all of us. So now I'm calling our next speaker. She's coming from far away, from Brazil. We have Dr. Beatriz Lucia. She is an international speaker, professor at the University Center Unifacfas, Lagos in Brazil. And welcome, Dr. Beatriz. I know it's probably early in the morning right now, right? So we do really appreciate your presence in here today. And the observer will be Madam Jenny Repstead from USA. Welcome, Dr. Beatriz. The stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you always. Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon to other countries. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here today. Thank you also to Professor Dr. Esther for inviting me. Thank you, Dr. Esther. My topic is project-based learning engage students through real application. And then, how does project-based learning work? That traditional teaching can no longer meet the needs of students. It is no news to anyone. There is a growing need to find new ways of preparing people for real life, especially in the new context of digital transformation. It's very important. What is this project-based learning? Project-based learning is a methodology in which the teacher does not have to provide all the content, planning, and the organization on the lecture. How does project-based learning work? It is quite simple, very simple. Propose one problem. Students investigate possible cases, the environment, reposit and manage the project. After learning more about the challenge, and its origins, they define techniques to solve the challenge. They carry out planning. They are evaluated by the teacher. They present the plan, carry it out, and can demonstrate results in another time. The principle of this methodology is enable each student to interact with his or her reality by identifying problems and proposing improvements, situation, or solution. The students propose only more ways preventing or solving the problem under discussion. It is included different topics, skills, and research from different academic subjects. What is project-based learning for? Project-based learning for encourage students individually and group to develop solutions to everyday problems, always in accordance with the reality. The central idea is to start with a problem or challenge that does not have a simple or observable answer. This requires students to use their imagination, searches for solutions, exchange ideas, and work in groups. And where does the teacher come in? Why? The teacher then has the holy facilitator, advisor, mini-enrar, collaborator, answer a specific question from the students. In this way, the group have more autonomy, research different points and results, and contribute to a pluralistic discussion or learning. The student can learn some essential process for carrying out projects, suggest as, well, formulate hypotheses, refine idea, make a prediction, experiment with hypotheses, collecting data, ask new questions. It's very important, ask new questions. The environment to country material. We need greater sense of responsibility on the part of the students and a greater ability and willingness to work in a team. Best regards to all is my simple contribution. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Beatrice. It was really amazing. So now we're going to call the observer. Yes, the observer will be Madam Jenny Rapstad. Welcome, Mom.
Thank you very much for that very intriguing and stimulating speech. I haven't had a lot of experience personally with this project-based learning. I want to thank you for bringing it to my attention. And from what I understand, this is a process by which students solve complex problems through creating hypotheses, following it, asking questions, and finally coming up with an answer. And the instructor asks as a facilitator more than a lecturer. Did I understand that correctly?
Wonderful.
Well, anyway, that's what I got out of it, and I think that that's very exciting.
Thank you always. Thank you for being here today. Thank you, Dr. Giannini, for your comment. It's very happy for comment. Thank you, Dr. Esther. Thank you to all.
Thank you very much for sharing. Thank you.
Dear, are you done? Are you done with her feedback?
Yes, I think good job, and I learned from it, so thank you very much.
Great, great. So back to you, Ambassador Diana.
Okay, it was really a fantastic, Dr. Beatrice and Madam Jenny Repstead. Well, before we continue to the next speaker, I do really appreciate for all speakers, observers, and participants who have been with us for 1 hour and a half. So as we all here sitting in front of the screen, I'd like to remind you to take your water and keep hydrated because yeah, it's really important. We still have a half of journey in the summit, okay? So now I'm calling our next speaker. We are having with us right now, Madam Jenny Repstead from USA. She is award-winning speaker and writer, and also a president of Jenny Repstead Enterprises LLC. And the observer will be Ambassador Caleb Timothy Samuel from Nigeria. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much. May I share my slides?
Yes, you can.
Going to go from the beginning. Okay, wait a second. I bet I did. Do you see them? No. Okay.
Not yet.
Okay, wait a second here. I'm sorry about that. All right, so I want to go back to here, and I did not share my screen apparently. So here we go. This looks like we might have a winner here. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. I'm delighted.
Amazing.
I'm delighted.
Good to go. You're rocking.
I'm delighted to be here with all of you. I'm learning so much, and it's just thrilling to be around all of these great minds that are focused on some of the problems that we're facing in education. I live in Hammond, Indiana in the United States, and much of what I'm going to talk about today is what I know best, and that's what happens over here. And my topic is competency-based education, measure student mastery of skills and knowledge, focusing on individual progress and achievement. This topic is very close to my heart because I am also a coach for speakers, for people who are pitching for money and as entrepreneurs. I lectured at universities, and I've taught in various capacities over the years. So I really appreciate the value of a good assessment and evaluation in growth. So you are very familiar as educators with the basic 3 types of educational assessment tools that we use. And I'm going to discuss that and also the importance of the very first assessment and my take on how empathy is essential to the teaching, learning, and assessment process. Well, as I just mentioned, the 3 most commonly used assessment tools are the diagnostic assessment, the formative assessment, and the summative assessment. And I'm going to talk about that in more detail. But I've always felt that evaluations and assessments should be directed toward motivating the students to do their best effort to master the course material. And if they needed further explanation, or if there was a disconnect in the learning process, I wanted to know right away so that I could help them. There's no point in them struggling if I can be of some assistance. The importance of the first assessment, and I have to say it's mutual. They're assessing the instructor at the same time the instructor is assessing the student, and it sets the tone. It plants the seeds of trust for the relationship for that semester. I take time to introduce myself to my class. It builds credibility, but most of all, I want to break the ice. I want to share things about myself with them because I want them to open up and give me some idea of where they are in the process. I teach communication, and that is not a class that is taught in most high schools or middle schools in the United States. So many of my students come into this class with no skill set, no basis of presenting the 5 projects that they will have to do at the end of the term. So I tell them, oh, I received my undergraduate degree from the University of Montana at Billings. I received my master's degree from Purdue. I tell them that I'm a professional speaker and that I have short teaching videos on my YouTube channel. If they ever need any help on things having to do with presentations, just check it out at will. I ask them if they've ever given a speech before. I want to know. Most of them have not. This whole point of this back and forth is that I want us to become familiar with each other so that we can learn together, help set the tone, and then I can observe them, their confidence level, their attitude, their potential for succeeding in this course. I have found that empathy is essential. My very first day lecturing at Purdue University Northwest, I experienced a teaching moment for myself. It was a freshman class that I just mentioned, the Fundamental of Speech Communication. It's a required class for graduation. Each student must pass with at least a C so they can eventually graduate. And I had just finished reviewing the course syllabus with the class, and I asked if there were any questions. A young man looked me right in the eye and said, "This is a stupid class. Why do I have to take this stupid class?" And I realized immediately he was speaking to me from a place of fear. This was new to him. This was uncharted territory. He had no skill sets. He had no experience, and he was afraid, and he was panicking. So we were out of his comfort zone. I asked him what he intended to do with his degree. He said that he was a business major. He said that he wanted to open his own business selling and servicing motorcycles. I pointed out to him that as a business owner, he would be the voice of his business. He would be responsible for communicating with his workers, his customers, his suppliers, his bankers, the business community in the town that he lived in. If it wasn't him who was the voice of his business, who would that be? No, I reminded him also that he had to pass this class in order to eventually graduate. I suggested that he make the most of it because he basically had no choice. At the end of the term, I received a very nice note from him thanking me for helping him get through this process of learning to speak in front of other people. That's why empathy is just so important. We have to understand where they're coming from, if we can. I shared this story because as instructors, most of the time we have very little information about our students especially at the start of the semester. The office sends us a roster with their names and student IDs, and that's about it. We don't know their backgrounds. In most cases, we have kind of a general idea based on where we're living, but we don't have specifics about their home lives and other factors that contribute to their willingness and capacity for learning. We often assess students based upon their performance and behavior at the moment. There are many factors that inhibit their communication, especially young people. No training at all. They're shy. They have lack of social skills, teenage angst. They self-sabotage themselves with all this internal noise of, I don't want to do this. Why am I making me do this? I don't love, until they basically create an atmosphere of self-defeat. We have specific problems in the United States, and I'm going to discuss them with you right now, but we have a rural school district because a lot of America has great fields of farmland or rangeland, and then we don't have urban centers. There are 12 states where the majority of the school districts are rural. And a definition of a rural school district is a district that has 484 students or less in the district. That's not in a school. That's the entire district has 484 students or less. They don't have broadband. It supports internet service and Wi-Fi. Many of them don't even have dial-up internet. Nationwide, 11.8% of our households in the United States don't have internet service. So there is not a level learning field for every student. The information that I gathered from my students in terms of how many speeches they've ever presented in their lives, which is generally most of them have not done any, is helpful for me because it helps me formulate my plans about how I can add additional material that can help them become more familiar with getting up in front of their classmates before they even have to present for a grade. There are other factors affecting learning experience of your students. We have 3.7 million students who are homeschooled. The chances of them having a specialty teacher in speech is really slim. Recent numbers show that at 1.1 million students are, but I can't even see my slide here. Wait a second here. I'm sorry about that. So we have homeless students that make up a part of our population. We have Native American, American Indian students that attend schools that are boarding schools on reservations. They don't have specialty teachers. Even in the state I live, because it's a farm state, 1 in 4 Indiana students come from a rural school district. So they are usually underfunded, and specialty teachers are not willing to take jobs in small little towns where the pay is low. So those are the things that we have to deal with when we get the student in the university system where they have no background. So the common assessment tools that are used, diagnostics, we all know the pre-test, the self-assessments, surveys, checklists. We discuss items with the students and see their familiarity. Then as time goes on, those are in the beginning, before the work starts, and the formative sessions of assessments based on the work that we're doing now. Instructor observes their discussion of homework, their Q&A sessions, conferences with the students, in-class activities. And then you just basically ask them, say, do you understand? And they tell you yes or no. And then the summative assessment is basically at the end of the learning experience. And this is high stakes because there's grades. Those include final exams, turn papers, projects, portfolios that they may have to turn in, or an actual performance, which is in my field, they must perform a speech, present speeches that are defined by the department. So there are additional assessment tools and the criterion, and those are the standardized tests that are created by government bodies or educational bodies and given to the students. There's the norm reference. This is basically known as the bell curve, where we establish an average score, and the ipsative that are basically charts where we compare the students' progress to themselves over time to see if learning is occurring. I want to thank you for the invitation to come here and present today. I feel very strongly that assessments are very important of the learning and growing process and helping students develop the confidence they need to successfully complete their academic career so they can go on to get meaningful jobs. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Please stop sharing. Wonderful. Amazing, amazing. Very nice presentation. I would like to call upon Mr. Caleb. Caleb Samuel, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Good afternoon.
Caleb, amazing. Yeah. Oh, good afternoon. Okay. Good evening.
It's afternoon
Morning.
here already.
Okay. So please, you are the observer for our Madam Jenny. Please proceed. Thank
Yes.
you.
First of all, I want to appreciate the IIU and for the invitation to be an observer in this very conference to Dr. Jenny Rapstad, United States. So much was learned greatly, and I first of all appreciate our presentation. It was beautifully constructed. It gave out the real meaning of competency-based education, where she talked first of all about the importance of first assessment, and she talked about its mutuality and set of tone and the seed of trust. So that's very, very much important. And she also talked about knowing the students, we or the learners, we are passing our messages to. It is very, very important because it's part of the most important thing, especially when we try to communicate the meaning to our students so that they can have a better understanding and about the concept of pedagogy. So it is very, very important. And also, she also talked about the factors initiating development of communication skills, which also we also talked about the lack of social skills that she talked about and the shyness. And of course, as a social being that we are, social aspect of us enable us to interact and to communicate even among ourselves, and that intellectual to communicate intellectual tasks to ourselves so that we can come about solutions to the problem. So she talked about so many things, and I must appreciate her presentation. It was well presented, and thank you very much for making me the observer again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Caleb. Wonderful feedback. Now we go to back to Ambassador Diana to call upon next speaker.
Okay, thank you so much for amazing speech and also observation. Now I'm going to call our next speaker. She has been with us since the beginning. Our next speaker is Madam Syama Hafiz Marika from Oman. She is a trainer, life coach, science teacher, and the observer will be Dr. Anjum. Welcome, Madam Syama and Dr. Anjum. You are muted, Mom.
Okay, so thank you very much, Ambassador Angelia, for that wonderful introduction. May I share my point?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Is it visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Very good evening to eminent personalities inspiring speakers and amazing observers present here. And of course, all the global audience who has been connected with us to witness this very exclusive program. Here, first, I must say, thank you for Professor Esther for having me here today to, as a speaker, to share my knowledge and expertise on active learning strategies. So, as we have all listened to now, great speakers, they brought many important points and strategies, approach to suit for this generation and as well as for the upcoming generation as well. So as a speaker, and I'm going to share that, I'm going to look at or share my knowledge at 3 objectives today, which first one is I want my audience or all the people present here to understand the importance of student engagement and processing time in teaching and learning. And next, I would be like, as you all know, it's 1 minute. I'm sorry. As you all know, when we, as a teachers, educators, now education changes with time, right? It's not like every day from the years back and we are teaching the same thing. So I remember a couple of years ago, like we were after some buzzwords, like what we say that differentiate. And then we had formative assessment and then summative assessment. So we were after these buzzwords to find out the strategies and the approaches. So it was, those are the words that we were going, and we had, I think, many meetings also in the schools regarding inculcating those new things, new approaches. And now I feel the most important buzzword is in student engagement. And as teachers, we must also accept the fact that it's not only involving students or engaging students in the learning process, it's also important for us to allow some time for them to process the information that they have learned. So we should know the 2 things, 2 elements comes here when it comes to active learning strategy. And then the next objective that which I'm going to talk about is why it is hard to keep the students engaged now. As you all know, today we are in the very fast moving world, right? This is a new world where we cannot get away from technology. So we are technology stimulated people, and so is our students also. So we cannot avoid it, but we can find ways to use it in a productive manner, right? So I'll be talking about that little, and then I will be sharing 5 active learning strategies to use in any lesson, no matter the content, subject, or the area. The simple, super easy one that you can use. Before I move on to the deep dive into that our today's topic, I would like you all to, because all are educators here, right? Just to go through this, think of this question. I'm sure you all are using some strategies, right? What are some of the strategies that you use to keep your students engaged? Maybe it's something that I'm going to share in the future in this slide, but maybe something different or some fabulous things that you may be using, but we are not aware of it, right? So it could be anything, but just think of it. If you have a pen and paper, just note it down. What are some of the strategies that you already use in your lessons, which you find very useful and very effective? Just, I will give you 20 to 30 seconds to think over, and you might write it as well. It's just for your reference. Okay, let's move on to the first thing which I mentioned earlier, student engagement, right? Student engagement is the buzzword nowadays. So as teachers, we used to have a passive learning environment back in years, right? Those days, as when we were students. Because that time it was okay that we learned from passively, we were listening. But to today's world, it's not like that. At the same time, you should understand that it is not a very big task, or it's a tough task to do this in the classrooms as well. We can incorporate it very easily without taking much effort, but super easy methods or approaches that can be used to enhance or involve students. Now, I'm in love with this quote, I must say. There is a big difference between hearing and learning. Actually, this statement is taken from Chickering and Johnson, the book which they both wrote, which explains the principles of learning and teaching for undergraduate students. So there are 7 effective ways of teaching. So this is back in those years. Also, they were doing researches, right? You know that in education, especially, things change over time. So once they were doing this, that time even that was mentioned there in there, the student engagement is most efficient way to teach children. But nowadays, this is very popular in schools. Even my school also, they have now this term is popular in schools even. So how we can inculcate or incorporate these type of active learning strategies into our lessons. Now, as I said earlier, the passive learners are, they listen only, right? They don't actually learn. Doesn't mean that the traditional lecturing method is bad or it should be stopped. It is useful. Why it is useful? Because we have to share or transfer the information through lectures, right? It is okay. But what it is not okay is we should not continue it for 45 minutes, 50 minutes, then just continuously, constantly sharing our knowledge and expecting the students to understand everything and keep them all in mind all at once. This is where we make mistake. So that's why the student engagement or the active learning methodology came into picture. So now, as teachers, we are tasked actually in this era, in this modern world, where the technology has overtaken everything, right? So even in our education systems, we have our speakers very beautifully mentioned. Many people find it as a distraction, right? Of course it is. But let's see what is the big task for the teacher or instructor to deal with, to involve students and engage them in a true learning. So we have to, it's not, it's a big task. Sometimes we may have to prepare in advance for hours and hours for some to course designing and everything. But at the same time, we can do simple techniques also. It comes under the umbrella of active learning strategies to make our lesson interesting. And what is the big challenge for the teachers today is, I'm sorry to say that, even many speakers mentioned here, it is good to have a technology because it's constantly simulated, right? And not only the students, even as the teachers, instructors, we also want to constantly look at our phones and laptops. We are in touch with that. This is the society that we are living in today, right? So what we can do is, as good teachers or productive teachers, what we can do is we have to keep that, we have to combat that challenge by using some productive, very effective active learning strategies. So we should have some tools in our toolbox. Teachers have toolbox, right? So it's not like we are we are opposing the technology, or we are just saying that it should be eliminated. But what is the effective teacher would do here is she would prepare that challenge, or she would prepare that lesson as with her effective tools. So now, and not only that, active active involvement is necessary for active learning to happen. And it's also necessary for teachers to ensure that students understand, right? Student understanding in the sense like they should be able to recall that information, and they should be able to do something with that information. And they should be able to use it in their day-to-day life, like problem solving occasion or anything. So the critical thinking part also we have to think over. So our assessment can be designed according to our lesson has to plan by, lesson has to be planned to engage. At the same time, assessment should be designed to ensure that student has understood. Immediately, you can give them some assessment and get back their feedback, how well they have understood, right? This is also the important thing that we have to think over when we are preparing for a lesson. And the next important thing about this active learning is guides versus doers. So back in those days, mostly the teacher-centered classrooms were there, right? So teachers were the center, they will come, they will stand there, and they will share the information in front of the students, and students will be just sitting and just, they will be hearing, right? That is the most important thing that happened those days. But nowadays, the active learning approach demands students to do it. So just the teachers or the instructors are guides on it. We can guide them, we can facilitate them, but student has to learn, actively learn in things like doing, in the sense like they can make groups and they can have discussions, debates, and negotiators, different roles they can take. But teachers' role here is limited. So the main thing is we have to prepare, we have to design in advance what activity we are going to give them today to keep them occupied or to get their involvement. And the next part is we have to keep in mind the processing time also, right? We should give them a break, and we can give them any assessment, any question, to let them talk, let them ask questions even. That is also a very good technique. So in this way, just we will make a pause, and we will make them involved in doing some activities. And then at the end of the lesson, we will be using our assessment as a tool to make sure that whether they have understood it or where they're from that lesson, what is the outcome, right? Have you achieved that outcome as a teacher for that particular lesson? Now, we have the picture of what is active learning, right? What are the active learning approaches? Now, the other thing is I would like to share. Here, see, some people still, some teachers, some instructors say they did not understand the concept of critical thinking. So to promote critical thinking, this is a very powerful quote, and it describes what is actual learning is. So this personality, I'm sure all of you must be knowing him, Benjamin Franklin said, I hear, I forget, I see, and I remember, and I involve, I learn. This is the fundamental concept of active learning. So if you only just passive learners, just they hear, so if there is a possibility they will forget it easy, right? And if you see something, you remember, right? But when you actively involve in that, what you think and what you are doing is in synchronized, and that is where the actual learning happens. So in terms of these, based on this thing, based on this concept, there are many ample of active strategies have been found out, and actively they have been tested also. And I think there are more than 228 strategies that have been published in many teachers and learning articles and all. So it's all about just how we use. We don't have to implement all those things in one day or, to all the students, but we can choose from that, and we can apply it to see whether it works, or how you can tailor it, even modify it and make it a new thing, right? So that's all about active engagement, student engagement strategies. That the most important things: engaging them, promoting their participation, and promoting their critical thinking. Now, how to promote critical thinking? So active learning means two things. One is the participation should be there, something they have to do with that information that the teacher has given already through the lecture, or just by transferring the information, right? Or sometimes it is very useful to, and very important also, to mention the instruction clearly, right? That can be done through traditional teaching only. So we cannot say we should omit everything entirely, but at the beginning we can do that. But we have to do more than just listening. So what we can do here is we can ask them to read. Reading, it develops critical thinking, and discuss with a partner or a pair, right? Or in a group also. And sometimes we can ask them to involve in writing. And sometimes we can give problem-solving questions to solve. They have to learn the information and put it into practice by solving a problem, or could be solving an answer, puzzle, games, right? Many things. And most important, higher order level thinking tasks should be included. So, for example, compare in the sense, let me say, as a science teacher, I do this most of the time. I will take an example, like compare the non-living thing, living thing, right? Or you can say, just compare the flowering plants, non-flowering plants. So children find the similarities there. And at the same time, if you find the contrast, you can say entirely vertebrates, invertebrates, find the contrasting, right? And this way, when they do these type of activities, their brain, their mind get involved in learning. Actual learning happens there. Another way is to also, you can say, analyze, right? So we can give some information and analyze it. And most importantly, if nowadays the information is they will get from everywhere, which is difficult to recognize whether it is true or fake, right? So if a child is very intelligent, or the cognitive level is good, and higher order level thinking is higher, then they will by default, they will analyze, this is wrong, this is right. So as a teacher, it's our duty to engage them in such activities also, like graph and surveys, and taking drawing conclusions from that, and categorize also. That is also a very important thing, what you say, the element that we can use to enhance our students' critical thinking level. So categorizing in the sense, you can give to any lot of things, and you have learned some concept and ask them to put into groups, sort out into groups. So that is also a good way that to boost their critical thinking level. And then the evaluation, synthesis, all these type of things. So one person is doing and you can evaluate, or self-evaluation. We can ask them to mark their own papers, right? This is also a good way for them to first put out what they have learned and then evaluate it, get feedback from that, and synthesis as well. So these are the methods we can use in our assessment, most importantly, so that our active learning will come to complete, right? Children are active. After that, their understanding level is also high. It's improved because we incorporate critical thinking assessments. And with critical thinking, these things will, if you give them like daily basis, they will improve dramatically. So we should, as teachers, we should focus on this as well. Now, I'm going to share 5 super easy active learning strategies that you can use in your lessons. I'm sure most of you are here educators in any lessons, be it in elementary school, middle school, high school, secondary school, college level, anywhere you can use this. First one is 3-2-1 strategy. This is a very easy thing which can be used at the beginning of your lesson or at the end of the lesson. It gives opportunity for a child to summarize what we have learned. For example, typically a class, let's say 5 minutes, then you will 45 minutes. Then first 10 minutes, you can revise the previous day lesson, asking them to state 3 information that you learned today from this lesson, and 2 favorite things that it resonates with you in this lesson, and then 1 question that you have. That also can be asked so that you can evaluate where the children is, right? You can give some sticky notes or something for them to use and put that in the, point out these things and read it out. So you can ask 1 or 2 people to come forward and read it out. So in this way, it's a good way to assess your children, whether they have got the lesson or not, right? So 3-2-1 is one strategy that is very effective, which I have used in my lessons as well. And the next one is turn and talk. Now, by listening to a lecture, after listening to a lecture, right? We have to take a break. Let's say a 10 minutes or 15 minutes lecture, then take a break and ask them to give them a question and ask them to write the answer for that and talk to the peer. We say think, pair, share, also there's another name for that. So ask them to talk to the neighbor and both will discuss. This also will be like you have to give only 2 to 3 minutes only for them. So they will talk. So this is like social learning is the most vital part, right? Because we are social animals, human beings. So this way, they make that memorable lessons becomes enjoyable at the same time memorable because they discuss. So this strategy can be used and throughout any point throughout your lesson. At the same time, it gives boosts students' memory, long-term memory. And the next strategy is stop and jot. And this is also giving a pause in between your lectures and ask them to give a question, ask them to write the answer for themselves in a piece of paper or anything it could be. Because as you see, critical thinking develops first with hearing, right? And we turn and talk means verbalize the information. That is one way. And we more reinforce that by asking them to write it. Writing is another effective way to enhance their memory, long-term memory. So when they write, they get a clear picture of what it is, right? What they have learned. And it can be that you can ask them to be group, and you can give a template and ask them to jot down their answer for the question and have it as again that discussion you can have. And this is also a very interesting topic that I found, very interesting strategy that I found, and children get immediately occupied. And the next one, active reading. As you all know, reading is a crucial part of learning, right? Because it is any stage, if you are in elementary to college level, and after even college level, if you are working also, the reading should be like, it is critical skill. So from the beginning, if you are an English teacher or a language teacher, you can give them to read quite often. If you can do it every day, it's far better. because everything depends on reading. I have seen many students in math. I have taught math also. So math time, children, they know math, but the problem is they don't understand the question. By reading, some twist is there, right? Some with the wordings and all. So if a teacher, a language teacher, who could contribute more time on reading, then it would be beneficial for other teachers, because the language is most important, right? So in this way, what is active reading? Active reading means that we also give a passage or some comprehension part to just read, and then it also takes only 5 to 10 minutes for reading, and then after that there will be a question they have to ponder over. Just from that passage, draw the conclusion, answer the questions, right? So in that template of reading, there should be a space for them to answer the questions. It's not like simply flipping the pages. Pausing is important because our mind wanders, right? The attention span is like 10 to 20, maximum 10 to 20 only. So that's why we give a break and ask them to involve in problem solving through questions. And this is a very effective method. And I think it should be done in every class, especially in language classes. It will help other teachers to improve their lessons through it. And the next one is the popular one, exit ticket. I'm sure you all have done this. This is also like we do it end of the lesson, which means, right, we have, let's say, 50 minutes of a lesson, and the last 5 minutes we can take, and we can use that 3-2-1 method. 3 things that you have learned. For example, let's say you have learned about biography of Abraham Lincoln. So you can ask, state 3 things that you learn about him today, right? And 2 things that, 2 achievements that he made throughout his life, and 1 muddy point, or the question that you still have, the confusion part. So they will write it in their note, like small 1-word answers also would be enough. All right, so that these things they will do, and they will, what they can do is they will just stick it on the board, and before they leave the class, before they leave the lesson. So this type of is also very interesting. At the same time, you can use it as a tool to evaluate your children's understanding. Where are they? Did they get your lesson properly, or where do you have to repeat it? Where they find confusion, right? So muddy point means the confusion. So these strategies are very useful, and yet it is simple, but super effective. Yes.
Okay.
Next one, last one is, yes. We must, so the conclusion I would like to say, must engage in active, student must be engaged in active learning. At the same time, as a teachers, we have to promote students' participation and enhance critical thinking by using different methodologies that I have said, and 5 active learning strategies that I have shared here. You can use it. And please think over the one more last question, exit ticket for you all. What is the one strategy that you learned today to use in your lesson plan next week? You don't have to do anything, just think over it, and you can take a note in your mind. All right. So with this, I would like to conclude my presentation. Over to you, Ambassador Haridana.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am, for your wonderful presentation. And we'd like to hear the observation from Dr. Anjum Grace. Is she here? Okay, welcome,
Yeah.
Dr. Anjum.
Yes, I'm here. And thank you, Professor Esther, for this wonderful opportunity. And also thank you, Mr. Haridana, for inviting me. Dr. Sharma, it was really a very great presentation. And as you were speaking about students' engagement, yes, as an educator, that is very, very important. And I must say, like, you are really a very great educator because, yes, being an educator, it is not only going into the class, teaching them something and coming out of the class, but the students should be able to learn, they should be able to understand, and after that, they should be able to use that knowledge in the practical world. And as you were explaining the 5 active learning strategies, there were very beautiful strategies, and I think every one of us, most of us, in fact, present in this meeting, we are educators, and we should be adopting all those learning strategies for the students. Thank you very much, ma'am. That was really an amazing presentation, and I really enjoyed it a lot. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Anjum. Good to see you here. Hope in next summit you will speak again, be our speaker again. Thank you so much for patiently waiting. Now, thank you, Toastmaster Shyama, for your wonderful presentation. Very insightful, very excellent.
Thank you very much,
So much. Now back to you, Ambassador Diana.
Okay, thank you so much for amazing and beautiful presentation. And now we are calling our next speaker. We are having a man finally, because we have been hearing from many women today. So welcome Ambassador Dr. Piyush Raja from India. He is a professor of humanities, NAT honorary member of Global Honor University, USA, and he is also a global goodwill ambassador. And welcome, Ambassador Dr. Piyush Raja. And the observer will be Madam Mecca from Georgia. Welcome.
Thank you. Namaste from India. I, Piyush, congratulate everyone for being the part of this education summit. I want to thank you, Professor Dr. Esther Mala, Hardiana, and all for giving me this opportunity to be part of this education summit. A very good evening to all. Today, I would like to discuss a topic of utmost importance, a topic that is not only shaping the future, but also defining it. I am referring to STEM education, the integration of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. In this rapidly evolving world, we find ourselves at the forefront of innovation and progress. Our lives have become intertwined with technology. We are here because of technology. We are having a great conference, education summit, because of technology. So we are intertwined and connected through technology, shaping every aspect of our existence. From this moment, we wake up to time, we lay our heads to rest. We are surrounded by marvels of scientific discovery and technological advancement. It is crucial that we equip ourselves and a future generation with the necessary skills navigate this ever-changing landscape. STEM education plays a pivotal role preparing our youth for the challenges and opportunity of 21st century. By integrating science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, provide a comprehensive and interdisciplinary approach to education that foster critical thinking, problem solving, creativity, and collaboration skills are essential for success in today's world. Science, the pursuit of knowledge through observation and experimentation, instills curiosity, a thirst for discovery, It teaches us question to challenge assumption and seek evidence to the society. Inclusion of technology in education enables students to develop digital literacy, adopt engineering technologies, and harness of the power of innovation. It prepares them to become active participants in the digital revolution and equips them with the tools to shape better future. The part of engineering, the application of scientific and mathematical principles to design and build solution, encourage a hands-on practical approach for problem solving. It nurtures creativity, ingenuity, and perseverance. By incorporating engineering education, we foster generation of innovators, investors, and problem solvers who are capable of tackling complex challenges and designing the sustainable solution. Mathematics, the language of patterns and relationship, develops logical thinking and analytical reasoning. It provides a foundation for understanding the world around us and plays a vital role numerous discipline. By emphasizing mathematics in education, we cultivate critical thinking skills, numeracy, quantitative literacy, which are vital for making informed decision and succeeding in various fields. By integrating science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, we create a holistic education experience and interconnectedness to the real world. It breaks down the traditional barriers. It breaks down the traditional barriers between encourage and encourage a multidisciplinary approach to problem solving. STEM education foster collaboration, teamwork, communication skills, enabling students to work collectively and address complex challenges. However, for STEM education to reach its potential, we must invest the necessary resources, infrastructure, and professional development for educators. We must provide hands-on session. We must provide learning experience, access to state-of-the-art of technology. And these type of opportunity for the students to engage with the real world problem, we must foster a culture that celebrates curiosity, embraces failures as a stepping stone to success, and encourage lifelong learning. In conclusion, because I am watching many speakers taking more time, in conclusion, integrating science, technology, engineering, and mathematics in education is not just about preparing a student for future careers. It is about equipping them with the skills of mindset necessary to thrive in ever-changing world. STEM education empowers individuals to become critical thinkers, to success, and encourage lifelong learning. Let us join hands for work together to ensure every child has access a quality STEM education. A quality STEM education. By investing in a STEM education today, we are investing in a brighter future for all. Thank you, Dr. Esther. Thank you, IIU, for giving me such opportunity.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Piyush, for the wonderful presentation, sharing. I would like to call upon the observer, Madam Maka, please. If you see others taking more time, please just go, don't follow, because there's more speakers waiting. Yeah, for everyone, for everyone. You know, I also have done some mistakes before. So after I conduct conferences, I know how difficult it is. And everybody come in, they want to go out. They want to speak, they want to run. Everybody texting. Okay. Madam
My dear,
Maka?
here.
Yeah. Is she there? She was there.
Yes, dear. I am here.
Ah, yay, you are here. Okay, fantastic.
Pray for my
Thank you for your
baby.
patience. Thank you for
Sorry,
your
sorry.
patience.
Hello, everyone. Hello, thanks. You're great speaker very much. It's very helpful and useful presentation. And this was an excellent presentation with very appropriate interaction and not a lot, but very rich background information and very informative information. I am very happy to be here and listen to you. And I agree with Mr. Piyush Raja because technology in 2030 will play a critical role in education as well as in tech learning processes. It will be focused on information processing. Thank you very much, dear Esther, for organizing all this amazing conference. Thank you, dear Herdiana. You are great. Thank you to all speakers. Today it was very informative session. I am very happy to be with you always. Good luck to all. Thank you very much. I am very honored and respected
Thank you, Dr. Maka.
with you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you
Thanks
so
a lot.
much. Please, hoping that you will be the speaker in next event. Yeah, now I call upon Ambassador Herdiana to call next speaker, please.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Pius and my dear Maka. And now I'm calling the next speaker that already been with us since the beginning, Dr. Salija Vasudeva. Welcome, Dr. Salija. She is from India, an associate professor department, and the observer will be natural. Welcome, Dr. Salija. The stage is yours.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sailaja. You had been very patient, came in very early. Thank you for your patience.
I'm sharing my screen. Just again.
Not yet, ma'am. We couldn't see it.
Thank you so much. She's not so well, but yet she did her PowerPoint. Can you try again?
Is it visible now?
No, dear. Yeah, now it's okay. Yes. Just maximize your screen.
Okay, I'm audible?
Yes.
Yes, my topic is importance of social emotional learning for students. I'm Dr. Shalja Vasudeva, Associate Professor, Department of Political Science from India. Okay, my agenda is we are together here for Education Revolution Summit towards 2030. I will discuss today about introduction of the topic, the importance of social and emotional learning, pics related to social emotional learning, video related to social emotional learning, effects of social and emotional learning, and conclusion. Now, first of all, I will discuss about what is social and emotional learning. Social and emotional learning is a strength-based developmental process that begins at birth and evolves across the lifespan. We can also define social and emotional learning that helps students of all ages to feel those emotions fully. and demonstrate empathy for others. These learned behavior are then used to help students make positive, responsible decisions, create framework to achieve their goals, and build positive relationship with others. Social and emotional learning refers to the process through which individuals learn and apply a set of social, emotional, and values that help direct students. This includes thoughts, feelings, and actions in ways that enable them to succeed in school. Now, I will discuss about the importance of social and emotional learning. In importance of social and emotional learning, it comes self-awareness, relationship skills, responsible decision-making. It helps to improve academics, reduce negative social behavior like bullying, create positive classroom climate. These are pictures related to our our social and emotional learning. You can see here some students are sharing their snacks and their food together without thinking about any race, caste, region, religion. You can see here in this school, a teacher is discussing the problem of depressed students. You can see the happy faces. You can see the sharing, caring attitude in the schools. In this pics, you can see all the atmosphere which are given in our schools. Now, I will play video. I'm facing some issues in sharing this video, so I skipped this video. I'm very sorry about it. Now, I would like to discuss effects of social and emotional learning on students' well-being. It improved academic outcomes, improved social relationship, increased esteem, increased empathy, improved decision-making, improved mental health, improved life skills, and reduced behavior problems, etc. Now, I'm coming to conclusion. Social emotional learning programs have been found to have a positive impact on mental health, academic outcomes, and social relations. At the social emotional learning programs resulted in a decrease in conduct problems. For example, disruptive behavior, fighting and bullying, etc. Thank you so much for listening me patiently. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Sarja. Such extraordinary presentation, a very beautiful slide, very well articulated. And thank you again for this beautiful PPT, because I know you are not well. In spite of that, you still prepare and you still come so early and waited patiently. I'm really grateful to you. Thank you. Next, who is like to call upon the observer?
It's
Ambassador.
Nacho.
Yeah, it's Nacho. Is she there?
Yes,
Nashua?
she's here.
Yeah, Dr. Nashua is. Dr. Nashua, please. You're welcome to give your feedback for Dr. Sarja.
Yes, Dr. Nashwa, please unmute yourself. You can wait. You can unmute yourself. My dear Esther or any other host today, can you please unmute her? Because probably she's having issue, cannot unmute herself. For the host, Professor Nada. Maybe you can unmute her.
Yes, I'm looking what's happening, but why she is muted?
There and also try, but
Nashwa, am I right?
Yes, Nashwa, KLK.
Okay, ask to unmute. Huh.
Yes.
I can't do nothing here.
I think her problem.
Oh, she has problem. She needs. We cannot unmute her now.
She need join again and click in microphone.
The host must unmute her, I think.
Okay. Nashwa, can you hear us? Okay. Can you please rejoin again, and maybe later you can try
She cannot hear you. Her mic is not working, I think.
Okay, so how about we call the other observer as oh, your mic is working? Okay, because we still got some speakers in today's session. How about we'd like to...
But her mic is working now, then she can speak, right?
Yeah, she cannot unmute herself.
No, she cannot unmute, and she said that she don't hear us nothing also.
So see, I think you can leave and rejoin again, probably because there's connection.
I think you have to type in the chat box so that she can see. Please leave and
Najwa, you can type in the chat box and then I can read it.
Yeah. I told her to leave and come back.
Yes. So meanwhile, my dear Sia, can you please give the feedback?
No. Yeah, she said she will write the observation. Let her write. Later we can read.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let her write.
Well, it's really great, and I'm so happy that we are still together.
That's nice.
Yes.
Yeah. It's okay. Carry on. Let her write first. Then we can read after this.
Yeah, and I accept my gratitude to all speakers and observers who has been so keen to join with us until right now. It has been more than an hour and a half. And thank you so much for joining with us, and to all participants as well. And okay, so we are waiting her to write the feedback for Dr. Salija, and I'd like to say thank you so much, Dr. Salija, for your wonderful presentation. And I think it's really important to address the emotional learning to all the students, because we live in today's society where sometimes we cannot even understand ourselves. So it's important to address this topic to students and bring more awareness to them. Okay, while waiting.
Yeah, we go to the next.
Thank you so much, Hadyana ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, and while waiting her, I think we can call the next speaker, right?
Yes, please do everything, yeah.
Yes, and then later we can go back to Anashwa again.
Yeah.
Okay, Anashwa said thank you so much, Dr. Saliha, for delivering such an informative presentation. We genuinely appreciate the knowledge and insight you share with us concerning the emotional and social learning. And your expertise and guidance have greatly contributed to our learning experience. So we are grateful for the opportunity to learn from you and apply that we have learned in our own journeys. It's really wonderful. So Dr. Nashua also said that your presentation has undoubtedly expanded our understanding on the topic, and she's really excited to explore it further. And thank you so much for your valuable contribution in our education. So thank you so much once again, Dr. Salija, for your presentation, and Dr. Nashua for giving the feedback. So now I'm going to call our
Thank
next
you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Our next speaker is Professor Rafinder Rena from South Africa. He's already joined with us. He is an academician, professor, and motivational speaker. Welcome, sir. Please enlighten us with your knowledge.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I hope you are doing well, and thank you for the opportunity. And it's indeed a great pleasure to be part of this particular event organized by the IIU, Malaysia, and particularly I would like to thank the project director, Dr. Esther Mala, and also all other colleagues from different corners of the globe joined their minds and hands together to discuss the important topic, education revolution towards 2030. And the topic of mine today, ladies and gentlemen, is a blended learning for optimum results. That's the topic that I'd like to touch upon. A professor with about 31 years experience across the globe from different continents in the world that I worked from Australia to Africa and Europe and Latin America and so on. So I'd like to share some of my experiences, and also would like to touch upon some of the essential points pertaining to the blended learning. And the blended learning is not a new concept as such. It is being used from time to time as we progress with the technology over a period of time. So that is particularly even 20 years ago, also people were using what the platforms like virtual platforms that we are having today. They are also using such kind of things, but we probably do not know. We only came to know because of the pandemic, and thanks to pandemic, COVID pandemic, that brought us together and having this kind of interactive sessions. And of course, Zoom session, when it was started somewhere around 2013, somebody in my neighborhood in Cape Town, they informed me about the Zoom, and but Zoom became more popular only for the past 2-3 years. That time it was not popular as such. So looking into what is this blended learning, I would like to discuss about it. And is the combination of the online as well as offline learning, face-to-face learning, and also the digital learning or e-learning. So that is what we call blended learning. And people, they also give different names for this hybrid learning, and also probably different mix of learning process. And now the question arises here is that which learning is better learning now? As a professor with 30+ years experience, I would always say that face-to-face learning and teaching is always the better option. Maybe I'm a traditional person, but in my own experience, that, ladies and gentlemen, when we look at the student in the classroom environment, eye-to-eye contact will always make a huge difference. It's not only a teacher or a professor teaches or disseminate his knowledge to the student, but also he learn the humility, the humbleness, the politeness, and that innocent smile of the students, the face of the students. That will also give different reflections to the teacher that motivates him. So therefore, I always prefer the face-to-face learning from the maybe the online learning, because online learning we do not have much control because we cannot ask every student to put on the video, and so they may bring a lot of reasons which are not even valid reasons. So because we don't have control over that, if I ask, okay, all the students must switch the video on, they will say that, sir, my network is weak, even though which is not true. And they will bring any kind of reasons for to avoid that kind of thing. They can even sleep while the class is going on. They can do all the nonsense also, whatever they wish to do. So the teacher doesn't have a control. And therefore, face-to-face learning for the past several centuries of this learning process. Even if you take Aristotle and Socrates and Greek philosophers and the education, the way it is evolved over a period of time in India and Takshashila University and all those Nalanda University and so on. So face-to-face learning always make a huge difference. Now, what are the essential points we can cover in the interest of time as part of this learning process? So there are 4 C's I would like to mention here. That the first C as part of the blended learning is communication. Communication is an important tool where without communication the relationships also will be shaky and will be broken into pieces. So therefore, communication plays a vital role in the whole learning process, how we communicate with them and so on. And then the second point is that collaboration. Collaboration is also equally important in the learning process because it's a collaborative approach. It's an experimental or experiential learning process. It's not a one-way or maybe one-man show as such. It's not between the teacher and the student alone, but there are also various other stakeholders that involves. When I say this collaborative, because even if anybody at the university level or the school level, if somebody would like to learn, a learning takes place with 4 different dimensions. No student in the world, he can learn only from a teacher, only from the classroom. It could be different. Only the student who learns from the teacher is only 25% actually. And the remaining 25%, he learns from the peers and the school environment and probably his parents and the neighborhood. So different people, they are contributing 25% each to the learning process. Therefore, learning doesn't take place only between the teacher and the student, but also with various other stakeholders as well. And then the third point I'd like to mention is that critical thinking. Ultimately, we need to think critically. The purpose of education is it's not about just memorizing the facts and figures and information that we obtain from different sites and different angles, but most importantly, application of your mind to think and to act. So that's what education is all about. We all have students learning in master's degree, MSc economics or MSc computer science, or whichever subject we learn. They all sit, 30 students or 50 students, they sit at MBA class, they sit in the same class. They read the same books. They are having the same teachers and same assessment criteria, but everybody is different because the way we see things, that's what it should be. So it's not the content that you see is the same, but the way you understand things, the way you apply your knowledge, that will be a unique approach of every individual in the learning process. So that is why critical thinking is very important. And we have the third one is that creativity. So ultimately, we at the education, we not only have the spoon, just like taking the spoon and taking whatever we can. It's like spoon feeding process. But ultimately, you apply your mind, you analyze, you evaluate, and you synthesize, you criticize, and you create. So that's what basically need to be done in the whole learning process. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, that these are the 4 C's plays an important role. And now the question arises here is that particularly for the past 2-3 years because of the pandemic, most of the educational institutions across the globe, they are practicing this blended learning approach. Whether we have optimum results with this and whether we are having, so blended learning is having a lot of advantages, definitely, because it can reduce the cost of the learning process. And I'm sitting here in South Africa, you are sitting in different parts of the world. You can see me, you can listen to me. That is a blessing for all of us. So this is a kind of approach. But and at the end of this learning is open up a lot of opportunities and a lot of options to the students. If somebody misses the class because of the sickness, because of any urgent issues, he can come back and he can listen to that particular video of that particular class of the lecturer. He can try to understand. So that, and in bigger classrooms, I was also teaching 250 students in one classroom. That is too much actually. Even there are some of my colleagues that teach 300 students also, particularly when it's the undergraduate programs. So when we teach such a large number of students, the student lose the focus of the teacher, whether we have lapa mics and whichever we use, but the teacher also loses the focus and attention of the student. So we do have issues such as that. But at least if we have the online kind of courses such as this, that everybody can sit in their own space, in their own convenient ways, and they can try to sit and listen and try to understand. I think Benjamin Franklin, one of the colleagues, was quoting. I always remember that quote in my teaching, that if you listen, you'll always forget, actually. If you try to see or watch any video or program where we are talking to each other face to face, you remember it better. But when you indulge, when you engage in doing things, in practicing things, you'll always remember, and you always, probably that will be a good memory for you. So this is why the learning is having different dimensions. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to mention in the interest of time that whichever the mode that we use, whether it is online or offline, we are the teachers. We must always, there are 4 categories of teachers that we have. The mediocre teacher just tells, and the good teacher explains, and the better teacher demonstrates, and the best teacher inspires. So all these educators that are sitting here, some of us, we are teachers, professor, doesn't matter, but we need to be in the other side of the 2 categories where you can demonstrate and you can inspire. So this is what the teacher must be. And with this, a few remarks from my side, I would like to thank the organizers, and if there are any kind of feedback that is given, I would appreciate that. Thank you, Ananda.
Thank you so much, Professor Dr. Ravinder. Thank you. In spite of your busy day at work, you always support us, always make sure that you are with us and willing to play 2 roles. And as usual, your sharing is phenomenal, insightful. And I would like to invite your observer, Professor Dr. Mehran. Are you here?
Yes,
Professor?
I am.
Thank you for coming. She battled through her way in the traffic jam, and she's still not so good health, but she made it to come. Welcome, Professor Doctor. You won the war, you won the race, and yeah, happy to see you. Please carry on.
Thank you so much, dear Sister Esther. It's lovely to be here. And just quickly, before I say anything else, God's blessing that we're always here. It is an honor for me to be the observer to such an astute member of our community here in South Africa, a leader in education as well. Professor Ravinder is somebody not that I know from now, and I like how he especially gave thanks to COVID. Because so one positive that came out of this pandemic is that it brought us all to communicate and learn about each other and grow together. So I love how he did that. And one of the key takeaways for me is exactly that, what he said on the 4 C's. And I actually wrote them down, and I'm sure everybody else would have too. So those 4 C's being communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and creativity. Because, and why I say those are crucial is because I share the view with him of how important it is to have a face-to-face and eye-to-eye contact with your students, because it kind of gives it that sense of humaneness in a classroom. So I really would like to tell him thank you very much, Professor Ravinder. Your presentation was absolutely astute and really well articulated, with so many takeaways, and lots of gratitude to you for your input and whatever you are giving us off as well. Thank you so much for everything you do. I learn a lot from you as well. So thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Mehran.
Thank you so much, Professor Dr. Mehran and Professor Dr. Ravinder. Fantastic. We shall go ahead with next speaker. Back to you, Ambassador Hardiana.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor Ravinder and Professor Mehran. So we got the next speaker who has been with us, Madam Eliko Akabia from Georgia. She is an international speaker, English teacher, and the observer will be Madam Mehjabin Faiza Pradhan from Bangladesh. Welcome, my dear Eliko.
Hello. Welcome. Welcome. This is the first time you are in this platform. Thank you for coming. Please carry on.
Hi, everybody. I am Malika Kopia from Georgia, an English teacher as well as a moderator in international webinars such as the Global Future Foundation, a panelist and a speaker in 21st Century Schools, and IIU speaker in the private tutor. It is a great honor for me to participate in such a large-scale summit. My topic, creative learning. And now I share my screen.
Yes, you can share, but please make sure you notice the timer here because we exceeded the time.
Okay. Is it visible?
It's visible.
Okay.
Visible. Maximize it, please, ma'am.
No. Collaborative learning. I have a internet problem and I speak for myself. Collaborative teaching is the most modern form of teaching, which teachers use more and more actively in the educational process. It is aimed at the partnership and group work, which requires synchronous and asynchronous, coordinated and constructive activity of participants to jointly solve the problem and achieve a common goal. During cooperative learning, unlike independent and competitive learning, students develop dual both individual and group responsibilities. At this time, each of them is responsible not only for themselves and their
Inga, she
well-being,
don't
but
hear
also
you.
for
Please
the
let her
group and
speak.
its
She don't
success.
hear you.
Thus, there are two levels of responsibility in cooperative learning. The first is the group responsibility for the group to achieve the goal, and the second is the responsibility of each member of the group to contribute to work and success of the group. It is the two levels of responsibilities that must be integrated into the cooperative lesson, which is students realizing that his or her success is a prerequisite for the success of the group. One of the goals of a cooperative learning group is to make each member a distinct individual, but research shows that many students in group work try to stand out at the expense of others and get undeserved rewards. Therefore, it is not easy to evaluate the contribution made by each student in group work. To avoid these problems, these teachers should wisely choose the method of group work. Collaborative and peer teaching involves dividing students into groups and assigning them learning tasks. Group members work on the issues individually and simultaneously share it with the rest of the group. Depending on the set task, it is possible to redistribute roles, functions among members during the work of the group. Working in a group can be specified by working in pairs, which is also effective in developing communication, listening to others' opinions, analysis, research skills, respect and sharing, and the skills to clearly present one's opinion in terms of the student's involvement in the lesson, learning motivation, cognitive social development, while helping the history teaching, achieving the result determined by the national curriculum for students. Working-based learning in basis of the principle of working in groups, students of different levels and abilities can be united in a group. The purpose of the group is for the students in the group to achieve the goal together. Therefore, each member of the group has a responsibility to each other and a desire to help each other. To effectively teach cooperative learning, it is necessary for the teacher to determine in advance the composition of the group members. That is, students of different knowledge and skills should be united in one group. During cooperative learning in the educational process, the teacher should take into account that each member of the group should have a specific task to perform. During cooperative learning, it differs from general classroom learning in the students develop individual and group responsibility. In contrast to individual work, group work has several key advantages. Initially, group work is important as it promotes cooperation between students and the development of creative skills. During group work, students can solve difficult tasks because the knowledge of the group is greater than the knowledge of an individual student. Consequently, the group together has more resources to complete the task than each group member individually. Cooperative and mutual support are very important in group work. We know that group work is one of the effective methods in the teaching process, but it also comes with challenges. One of the challenges of group work is cooperation. Cooperation is the sense that it prevents students from learning independently while working in groups. In addition, when any member of a group has incorrect information, misinformation can spread all throughout the group. This creates problems in cooperation. In order for group to be effective, it is necessary for the teacher to correctly and clearly formulate the condition of the task for the students, so that the students do not have a vague idea about the task while working. Group work has a positive impact on students' academic achievements only when cooperation is based on mutual respect. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much. And then what happened to your presentation? Did you share the screen? No. I think we like yeah, we like your presentation, but we didn't see the slide. Maybe you can send to my WhatsApp or in the group. Send to our group later. Okay. But
Yes,
anyway, it's really so nice. You really made a lot of effort to prepare your presentation, and you did it very well. Very splendid sharing. Thank you so much. And the observer, I'd like to call upon our Madam Faiza Purdan to give the feedback. Thank you for being so patient and waited for your turn. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Today I was listening all these speakers, and that educational summit, it was really wonderful. And as the collaborative learning she mentioned and talk about, she really found out so many important areas, especially those key benefits. Collaborative learning improves problems, which is really for the solving skills to develop for youth and students. Wonderful. And encourages social interaction, which is even another area to encourage youth how to be more of themselves and defining their co-confidence. Wonderful. Promote diversity, because diversity is what very core area for today's world. Anything that we are doing or working towards, diversification is very important. And creativity inspires research and improves confidence, encourages engagement. All these issues you mentioned, that is wonderful. And the main objectives, I think, how I should say it, out of this learning, collaborative learning, is I think trust, tolerance, and self-awareness. These three things gonna bring out the best out of those students, and in that way they will be much more aware of how they should navigate and carve their own knowledge and ideas with one another to build trust, and in a community or in a work well to trust and depend on each other for that goal to achieve by collaborating with one another. And it's basically gonna emphasize on the progress and productivity, which is very important because if you work individually, it might slow down. It might put so many pressures on oneself. So as a pro and cons, I think collaborative learning is another wonderful way, and it could be a strategic teaching technique for youth and students. So it was wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Madam Faiza Prodan, for the wonderful feedback. Next, back to you, Ambassador Hardiana.
Okay, thank you so much for the presentation from Madam Aliko and observation from my dear Faiza. Next, we are going to call Ambassador Caleb Timohoen Samuel from Nigeria. He is a diplomat, social and environmental justice advocate. Welcome, Ambassador Caleb. And the observer will be Madam Aliko from Georgia. Welcome. The stage is yours.
Yes, thank you very much for having me. Thank you very much, Professor Esther Mala, for the invitation. Thank you very much, speakers, for your insights, for your knowledge. I have really learned a lot here at this time. I would like to share my screen.
Go ahead.
Okay, is it visible now?
No.
Not yet, but it's started sharing. But please make sure that we only have 10 minutes because we exceeded the time.
Okay, all right. Is it okay now?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay, so it is very important.
Maximize your screen, please. So
Okay.
Thank you.
How about now? Is it not maximized?
It's still the same.
Maybe you can click F5 on your keyboard to make it maximize. If you cannot see the plus icon at the right bottom, you can press the F5 on your laptop or on your computer to make it wider. However, it's okay. We still can see the words. You can carry on with it.
Okay.
Caleb, maybe you can you can click on the screen icon at the bottom right of your laptop.
No, you can press F5 on your keyboard. Yes. But if it's not working, I mean, if the keyboard is not working, then it's okay. You can carry on.
Just carry on.
Okay. Okay, so I will be talking on inquiry-based learning, cultivating curiosity and problem solving. It is very important to see the importance of inquiry-based learning in our educational institutions. It is very pivotal to see that when we break these three words, we'll be able to figure out the reason we need to go into inquiry-based learning. It is very, very also important to put into consideration that we need to engage our learners to make sure that they have deep understanding about the concept of our courses and the pedagogies that we are trying to give to them at this time. So I'll go to the introductory aspect. Before the advent of advancement in the technology, we were practicing transmission-based approach in the 4 walls of the classroom. But then so many factors have facilitated our changing pattern in education. The pattern of education during the industrial past are not adequate for the myriad challenges and opportunities facing the 21st century students. The change in time and the advent of technologies and digital networks and environmental educational environment demands a new way of designing learning exercises and new approaches and assessment for the students in the classrooms. So this calls for an educational reform away from passive transmission-based learning and imparting of discrete skills and processes is not new. So there are new suggestions and possibly there are new insights which suggest that traditional approaches to education that emphasizes the ability to recall disconnected facts and follow prescribed set of rules and operations should be replaced by learning that enables critical thinking, flexible problem solving, and the transfer of skills and the use of knowledge in new situations. So it is very important to know that it is when curiosity drives in that we'll be able to inquire important questions, and these important questions will lead us to the knowledge, and also the knowledge will also, when applied properly, it will let us solve our problems so that we can achieve some outstanding results about our communities. So when we look at inquiry-based learning, we need to also look at the philosophical aspect, where we trace down inquiry-based learning down to the school of thought among the great thinkers, and particularly among philosophers, where we shall be taking some instances about the Socratic method, whereby he used the process of engaging his learners, particularly in a school of thought, so that he can involve them in the learning process so that new knowledge and ideas can be created. This process is hereby to not sideline an individual. It is particularly a practice that was founded by Socrates to make sure that he is not seen as the most knowledgeable person. He is particularly seen as an individual who is to facilitate them and guide them towards knowledge. So when we look at the curricular landscape of education, we need to include some important features into the curricular landscape of education in every country. We need to at first put inquiry at the center part of the mission statement, program strands, and particularly in the core center of our general outcomes. And also, when we talk about inquiry-based approach, we need to look at the foundation of science programs. We need to look at it from this angle that we need to develop the skills required for scientific and technological inquiry. And most importantly, at the core foundation, it is very important that we need to solve problems and also communicate scientific ideas and results, and also work collaboratively and make informed decisions. So what are the 3 E's of the education that we are talking about? Education should be transformed around 3 E principles that we all know. We need to engage thinkers. We need to make them understand that by passing our messages to them, and also we need to make them understand that they are part of the learning process so that they can understand and gain maximum approaches or strategies to the problem that we are trying to talk about. So also ethical citizens. It is also very important that I would like to borrow from the word of Socrates when he said that unexamined life is a life worth not living. And so definitely our inquiry about knowledge, particularly our inquiry about the aspects of life, should also make us to live ethically and also consciously. It is then we can say that we have possessed some high degree of knowledge. And also, as an entrepreneurial spirit, we need to also incorporate entrepreneurial spirit that will be able to achieve results and drive change through entrepreneurship and through resilience. And also, when we talk about inquiry-based learning, we need to talk about, we need to talk about education should promote transformative use of technologies to prepare young people to flourish. in a knowledge-based economy by digital networking platforms to allow students to interact with experts, collaborate with their peers to create, to share, to exchange knowledge and ideas, communicate findings in imaginative ways to audiences beyond the school. What is the purpose, particularly for education? Basically, education, according to the 1944, is meant to make us to realize our full potential and to strengthen the democracy and also to promote the common good. So, and also we need to take a brief look of the traditional approach of education system back in the days, during the stage of industrialization, when man is needed to work to be placed into offices. There's this transformation-based approach whereby that was being practiced then to make sure that we consume content. And we all know that knowledge is the accumulation of facts and also processes and procedures for us to master. So these processes and procedures were all we were mastering at this time and which were not enabling critical thinking. And also, according to SOYA 2006, summarize these assumptions as follows. Knowledge is a collection of facts about the world and procedures for how to solve problems. The goal of schooling is to get these facts and procedures into the student heads, then, which was known as the traditional approach. And also teachers know these facts and procedures and their job is to transmit them to students. Simpler facts and procedures should be learned first. Then we need to look at 3 developments that challenge traditional approach to learning. Industrial and knowledge-based economy, advances in learning sciences, rise in technology and digital networks. So, industrial to knowledge-based economy. At this point in time, Darlene Hammond 2008 writes that job requires specialized knowledge and skill, capacity to design and manage one's own work, communicate effectively and collaborate with others, research ideas, collect, synthesize and analyze information, develop new products, apply many bodies of knowledge to novel problems that arise. Now, the rise of new technologies and digital networks. The rise of new technologies and digital networks challenge the traditional approach by making information available to every learner, irrespective of their location. As such, it makes the textbook and teacher not the sole holder of knowledge, and also make information available to every learner. So it is also very, very important that as a result of the rise in new technology and digital networks, we need to collaborate with peers to create, to share, refine, exchange knowledge, and also ideas. It is then knowledge and idea can be created. Advances in learning sciences. A contextualized environment, according to research, sees learning as the ability to remember ideas and knowledge. As a result, isolated facts and procedures that are learned and as repetitive drills have little meaning and are soon discarded. So this view that students learn best when the subjects are meaningful to them. Students' tasks must have authenticity and a sense that the work being done in classroom is real work that reflects the living realities of the discipline being taught. So curriculum must be designed in such a way that it has a connection with with courses and topics so that the learners can see the connection and also they can be able to figure out and so that they can be able to develop their competencies in this current time. And also when the curriculum is designed in such a way that it is mile wide and inch deep, it will not allow learners understand deeply the concept of the discipline. And also this is the difference between the learning knowledge and learning knowledge deeply versus the traditional practices.
Okay, can you please conclude the presentation because we exceeded the time? Apologize. So please conclude your presentation.
Okay. In order for us to meet the inquiry-based approach, we need to use the scaffolding method. And secondly, we can use the formative assessment method where we get feedback about our works. And third, power critical and essential questioning. This will enable students to tailor their ideas and also through line questioning. So in conclusion, it is very important the inquiry-based approach to teaching is an undisputable approach for problem solving. It does not only solve problems, but in totality changes man, including his thinking and reasoning. In the educational institution, this approach encourages intellectual sharing by bringing together learners and combine minds together, bringing down a problem. It impacts learners with the ability of understanding core concepts and procedures in discipline, and as well promotes collaboration in a learning environment. So special measures in educational institutions are needed to be put in place, such as the scaffolding method. This will enable us formative feedback loop, where we can get feedback about our work, and so that our teachers and also our facilitators can improve on how they can disseminate their knowledge through intellectual engagement and through line questioning. So thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to share my knowledge at this wonderful conference. Thank you again.
Wonderful, wonderful, very insightful, well articulated, presented. It's really awesome, but definitely we don't have more time because a few are waiting very long. Thank you so much. I would like to call upon, well done, Mr. Caleb. Very nice presentation. I would like to call upon Madam Eliko to give the feedback. Welcome.
Yes, first of all, thank you very much for sharing your presentation. It was very interesting and informative. And one can add that problem-based learning is a dynamic approach to education that promotes active learning, crucial cognitive thinking, collaboration, and practical application of knowledge. In this process, students are at the center of learning and play a crucial role in identifying and solving problems. Problem-based learning helps build flexible knowledge and develop problem-solving and self-direct learning skills. But engaging students of all age in problem-based learning is unlikely to institutionally motivate or teach cooperation. The main value of problem-based learning is to prepare students for the complexities and challenges of the modern world. And this means students' achievements should be assessed. Developmental feedback focus on both content knowledge and problem-solving skills throughout the entire period of activity is desirable. Thank you once again, Mr. Caleb.
Thank you so much, Madam Eliko. Thank you for the nice feedback. Okay, back to you, Ambassador Hadania, to call upon next speaker.
Okay, thank you so much for a wonderful presentation. Now I'm going to call our next speaker. We are having Dr. Madhvi Borsa from India. She is TEDx speaker, educationist, author, international speaker. Welcome. The stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Haryana ma'am, especially Esther ma'am, to invite me after a long time in the webinar. And I can see like Nada ma'am and Marine ma'am. I can really relate. It's been a long and meeting my second family again in the webinar. So thanks a lot. So when it comes to when we are running out of time, so let's connect without PPD. And also when it comes to teacher professional development, is the compass, that empowers educators to navigate the ever-changing landscape of knowledge and skills that propel them towards excellency and art of teaching. Apart from like when it comes to art of teaching, if I teach my students, I teach with the actions, like if I give the example of the preposition, so I teach them like this: in, on, under, in front of, behind, next to, between, above it, below it, around it, beside it, up it and down it, inside it, outside it, across it, against it, near it, except it. So body language is necessary. So when it comes to like as team educators and honorable speakers, today I would like to emphasize the crucial importance of teaching professional development, cornerstone of excellency in education. As we gather here, we acknowledge the education is a journey. And when his journey is a constant journey, to growth and evolution. When it comes to doctors and teachers, we need to learn forever. And at the heart, out of this journey, the dedication teachers illuminate the path of the future generation. Apart from it, like teacher professional development is not just a series of workshops or a seminars. It is a profound commitment, like to lifelong learning as well as a relentless pursuit of excellency in the art of teaching. Our classrooms are not static environments; they are vibrant spaces where knowledge and innovation merge to, shape young mind and prepare them the world ahead. For me, I teach my student as in a rapping and singing also. So when it comes to water cycle, so I teach when the water goes up and it comes down, the water cycle goes round and down, water cycle. So I try to do the rapping and some of the singings also. So as we teacher have the unique privilege and responsibility of sculpting the leader, I scientists, artists, as well as thinkers of tomorrow. So to fulfill a noble task, we must be willing continuously to refine our skills, embrace new teaching, method, and stay updated with the latest advancement and respective field. So when it comes to me, I teach my students the run to board games also. Like every day I give them some synonyms and all, and they run, cover the different pants, and they write it and check it, change it accordingly. So as the world evolves in the rapid pace, so do the challenge and opportunity that face our students to empower and thrive to the dynamic landscape. We must, dynamic ourselves through the teachers and professional developments. We arm ourselves and tools to overcome obstacles, curiosity first, and furthermore, like teacher profession, professional development fosters a collaboration. Like right now, we are connecting with all of the global educators, and we share experience and other success and failures, and strengthen the bond, unite the noble mission and young minds. So, when it comes to me, I have I should urge each one of you to embrace in the conclusion teacher to professional development with the enthusiasm and an open mind. Seek out opportunities to attend workshop, conferences, engage, and online course that align with your passion and areas of interest. I myself am an online coach, so embrace the latest pedagogical technique. And when ma'am said I'm a TEDx speaker, so my talk was on pedagogical techniques itself. So it was research, create dynamic and inclusive, effective learning in the environment. So here is a little poem which I am going to speak at last. In halls of learning and the passion thrives, teacher seeks to grow and to strive. Development light at their guidance flame, and igniting their hearts will fuel and aim. Workshop, conferences, dialogues grace. Their sharpened skills embrace new space. Until they stand strong, the bright, empowering minds, and be knowledge is light. Teacher's journey and light flight, inspiring heart, igniting insights. In learning realm, they forever play, guiding stars along life's way, guiding stars along life way. So I always call my teachers as the guiding stars and my students as the shining stars. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Wonderful. What a fascinating sharing. You took so much of patience in spite of your busy schedule from morning. You just finished your work and straight away you are here. I don't know whether you have taken your dinner. Anyway, thank you so much for this well articulated, well presented, in depth, left, right, top, bottom, everything. Wonderful. I have to listen to your speech again.
Thanks, William, ma'am. Thanks, William. And after having this patience, I got so much encouragement of all this clappings and love. Thank you so much.
I tell you, I have one bunch of wonderful speakers and observers. Every one of them are really wonderful. They have so much of patience. I really am grateful to them. I would like to invite, because your observer, she's not around, I would like to call upon Professor Dr. Ravinder Rena. Are you here?
Yes.
Yeah. I need your help to give your feedback for Dr. Madhvi, please.
Okay, just hold on. Colleagues,
Yeah.
can you hear me now? Just hold on.
Yeah. Yes.
I think there is no electricity in South Africa. We've been
Oh,
having
is
this
it? Okay.
load shedding. That's why I'm holding this.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you so
My
much.
phone become a torchlight for me. Yeah, I think I agree. I think my colleague Professor Mehrin also agree with me with this.
This is
Yeah.
amazing
Anyway,
support.
Dr. Madhvi, I think it's wonderful presentation with a lot of life in it, and you try to show your actions. I can see that you are a real teacher. That you could able to show and demonstrate. Actually, that's what I was telling in my presentation earlier, that a teacher must demonstrate actually, and the demonstration can inspire the student as well. So that is absolutely fascinating, and you covered like a singing songs, probably bringing so many insights into that, and that's wonderful. Well done, and so wish you good luck for your future endeavors as a professor, as whichever way that you are working with the students. Good luck. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, Dr. Mala.
Thanks, William, and eternal gratitude to all of who has presented here, especially to Esther ma'am who has given me this opportunity. Thanks, William. Extremely gratified.
Thank you for coming, Dr. Madhvi. Thank you, Professor Dr. Rena, for the feedback. Now we are coming to our last but not least speaker. Next, I pass on to Ambassador Hadiana to call upon the speaker.
Okay.
And please wait for our closing song also.
Yes. We come to the end of the session. We have the last speaker, but yes, not least, my dear sister, Professor Dr. Ambassador Mehran from South Africa. She is a global educationist, transformational mental wellness advocate, and life coach. Welcome, my dear sister. You can unmute yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I'm so sorry. The network here is suddenly going a bit crazy. As you just heard from Professor Rena, we have issues with lots of stuff in this country. So quickly, I would not take up too much of time, especially being the last speaker. And of course, here, before my network cuts me off completely, I'd rather get a few words in. So good afternoon, good evening, and good morning to you, wherever you are in the world. I greet you all in the universal greeting of peace of blessings. Thank you so much, Professor Dr. Esther. Lovely to see you, my sister Hadiana. Lovely to see Professor Nada. And wow, it's so lovely to see Madhvi again. And thank you to everyone on the panel. So far, whoever I've heard, I've learned a lot from. So thank you, IIU, for helping us put this together. My discussion for today revolves around culturally responsive teaching. And the reason I really am passionate about that is because of my passion in terms of how to have holistic education in a classroom. And when you have to talk about this culturally responsive teaching, what exactly are we talking about? It's exactly that. It's exactly trying to connect our students via their cultures, teaching them about each other's languages, respecting that, and taking their life's experiences and what they learn about life and what they go through with their cultures and inculcating it in your life in school. So in a classroom. So as you learn about their cultures, you inculcate it into your curriculum so that they are able to learn about each other and love how to learn about each other while they learn the academic portion of things. Remember, one of the things that we have to do always, our brains as human beings is wired that we want to always connect. And this type of connection is not necessarily linked only academically in a classroom, because we have at least minimal 40 kids in a classroom. These kids are all coming from different cultures, different backgrounds. And if we can inculcate within our teaching scopes and curricula how we can teach other children to appreciate those that are around them, their cultures, their languages, their views, then we're teaching respect. And that is something that these children will take with them to their communities, to society. And we're growing them then as building leaders. not just academics. So as much as we want to push for academic performance, we need to also make sure we as teachers lead first by showing that we respect every culture of every child within our classroom. Some of the components of this culturally responsive teaching can be where we as teachers learn to understand different racial and ethnic groups. And when we're doing that, we understand the different cultural values that go through with that. We understand their traditions, and we get to learn about their contributions as a culture to the society that we come from. And then we incorporate that knowledge into our instructions in the classroom. So when you as a teacher are giving assignments or assessments or projects for your kids to do, help them understand other cultures, but also giving them projects to do about learning about these. Put them into different groups to learn about each other. And then they will learn to respect each other. They will learn to respect each other for who they are and where they come from. They won't be seeing the barriers. They'll start to break down barriers, and they will start to grow as units. And that's what we need nowadays in our society. So when we're growing our children, we also need to inculcate that. Another concept we can look at is, when we as teachers help our children to achieve academically, we also need to look at how do we validate their cultural identity within that. And one of the things we can do is show our appreciation for these children who come from different backgrounds in the classroom. Because we understand their different communication styles, we will then be able to modify how we're teaching based on that. Now and again, let the children speak in their mother tongue in the classroom and then tell them to translate it. Why? Because we too, as educators, need to learn. And when we teach other children in the classroom that we are willing to learn this and we appreciate it because it helps us learn about others, we are teaching other children to do the same with community as they grow older. And that's where it comes from. Everything about humaneness and humanity starts with us. As much as we'd like to say it starts at home, parents are not doing it now. Parents are so inculcated with what they have to do with life and how to get through things. They're forgetting that these children have to grow in society. So what we can do is try and bring it into our classrooms through what we know. We know the curriculum, we know what we have to do, we know what our end results need to be, but we also know that these children need to be out there in the world one day. And they will remember us more than they'd remember anything else. So when we implant a seed, let's implant the seeds rather of how they appreciate diversity. They appreciate different cultures and they respect each other. Teachers nowadays, because of the vast number of kids they have to see to, might find it difficult, but I think it's key for us to learn that when we're talking about culturally responsive teaching, it's exactly that. Know your student. Try and make some time to know about the student, where they come from, what exactly do they do, how are they at home, what do they do, what do they practice. Sometimes your kids, for example, may be having a prayer over the weekend and you know of it. When you see them on a Monday morning, just ask your kids, how was the prayer? What did you do? Why would you do it? And when you show that appreciation of that culture, that kid feels good. And that's what we need. So get to know your students and also get to know their backgrounds. Remember, the only way you can actually know people around you is by knowing them, knowing their background, getting knowledge about them, where they come from, what exactly is going on with them. Part of that is their culture. And when we appreciate the culture, we appreciate diversity and we teach of it. So there, I'm talking about respecting and reinforcing that we have student cultures that have to respect each other. Another very important aspect for me is that we as educators need to communicate with children's families. We need to have these parent meetings. We need to get to know parents, get to know what's happening with these children, because we need to get into the minds of children. How do they function? Why do certain things happen? Why do they not happen? Part of things that don't happen is based on culture. And if we have to understand it, we will know how to get around it so that we can still win with these children academically, as well as just as a human being, because that's what they're looking for. This culturally responsive teaching means that we appreciate the customs and that we appreciate the characteristics of the various people and children that we're teaching. It tells us and it teaches that we will be able to love to learn about the experiences of other cultures, and we grow together with our different perspectives about it. How do we bring it into classrooms is up to us as the educator, and it needs to be respected across the board. Every government curriculum needs to please be able to allow for teachers to teach off this diversity and respect of different cultures, because we are not going to want to segregate. We can't allow for the barriers. We need to teach and enhance the respect for each other through this specific field of culturally responsive teaching. I will pause there for time, and I would love to be able to say thank you again to everybody. I'm sorry that I joined late, but for the little time that I was here, I really appreciated every speaker and whoever said anything, because I had many takeaways as well. Thank you so much to everyone, and thank you to IIU.
Thank you so much, Professor Dr. Mehrin. Thank you for your presence. I really appreciate, in spite of you not feeling well and got caught in the traffic jam, you came, you waited and patient, and you presented very well. And I'm indeed very grateful to you and every one of the speakers. Now, I would like to call upon Professor Dr. Rina to give feedback for Professor Mehrin.
Well, yes, thank you very much, Professor Esther, for the opportunity. Professor Mehrin, always you're wonderful. You speak from your heart, and you bring your own examples to the platforms such as this, and that's very incredible. And you also try to touch upon the holistic education, the cultural education is really an imperative that can bring some holistic education actually. And you try to touch upon education is not just the children going to the school, but also the parents' involvement, where parents, they should try to monitor their students, the children, and then they should regulate their activities from time to time. The love and care, the respect and the prayers, that's very, very important. That it's not about just going and learning the content, but the culture education is very important. We need to respect our elders and respect our peers and respect the environment where we are in. And that reminds me that the Ubuntu philosophy of our South Africa, that a person is not a person or a human being without the support of other fellow human beings. I am here because of you, actually. So that is, it's a holistic education. It's not about the teachers, it's not about the parents, it's not about children as such, but it is comprehensively, it is the involvement and indulgement of so many other actors and stakeholders. And that's well done. I think those are the important aspects and the takeaways that, so it's absolutely fascinating to listen to you always. I know you go extra mile. Always you take these things close to your heart, and you try to share your knowledge and wisdom whenever an opportunity comes, whether it is be associated with so many platforms, but you extremely show that passion towards sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor Dr. Ravinder Rena. Thank you for your amazing support. You're always there. Although it's not your turn, you still come and give your hands. Fantastic. And dear all, I see all of you stayed back here, and I wish to thank you from bottom of my heart for you, and also all our speakers who came in today and presented very, very well, and make this another grand success. Thank you so much. I'm supposed to play a song, but it's too late already. So I don't know whether you all want to hear. Can I have a vote of hands if you want to hear the closing song? 3 minutes? Yes? Okay. Ambassador Hadiana, shall we? With your permission? Because she's my right hand. Without her, this is not possible for me to do alone. Okay, I'll just share the screen. Let's have some light moment, yeah, after a serious talk. Why it's not appearing? Oh, yeah, it's downloading, isn't it?
Nothing yet. Click, Dr. Esther, click.
Okay. No, it was
Dr.
downloading. Just...
Esther, we waiting.
Yeah, it's coming.
I thank you very much, dear, of course, Esther, for organizing this wonderful event. Congratulations. Thank you so much to our amazing Nada. As always, you are wonderful. Dear Nada, of course, you are always with us. Thank you so much. You are brilliant.
Thank you.
All the speakers today were amazing and shared very important talks. Thank you so much. We'll learn from each other every day. And IIU gives us the opportunity. Yes, thank you so much.
The sound of the heart, the light of the dream.
Dr. Esther, we hear but don't see. Can you click again?
Yeah.
We hear it but don't see it.
Oh, how come? Shall I stop sharing and go back again?
Yes, please. Yes, please. Okay, because I think it is beautiful, but we cannot see it.
Why? But nobody tell me. Okay. Okay, I think I take this one. Now, can see?
Yes, great, great.
Okay. 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 It's downloading.
I say things that I feel, you care. You say something for you. The sound of the heart, the light of the dream. A story to fly, strong enough to say. Where do I go for the rest of the day? What do I do when you're far away? What do I say to you? What can you cry? Love insecure, stay away. A perfect day, where dreams are going to be true. The words of the broken, walking through shows. There's a story to fly, a strong you need to sing. Where do I go for the rest of the day? What do I do when you're far away? What do I say to you? What became right now? To you out of so it's nothing, it's on deep inside. It's a brand new story time. Crying home to go. Real joy, story time. Do I take when you're far away? What do I say to you? What do I care? In the eyes of the light, the darkness of this deep inside, it's burning the day. Story to fly, story. Your story to fly. Your story to fly.
Wow, wow. Wow, everyone enjoyed it. Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah, all already tired. Thank you so much. Till we meet again next month by
This
God's
is one
grace.
of the best ways I know of getting rich. It's by using the bank's money to get me great
Oh
assets.
my God,
and
somebody.
it's 100% legal. Interested? Well, then let me explain in this video. Hi, my name is Dr. Michael, and I found a way how to make banks love me and give me a lot of money. And when they give me that money, I will put it into places where I can get really good. Now,
The
look,
video
I can
contains,
do it
yes.
in a very normal way.
Okay, then take
Anyone
care,
with
everyone.
a
Bye
job
bye.
or business income can use the same method to get money from.
I closed it, it's still giving free ads. Okay.
See you,
Thank you.
everyone. Take
Good
care.
morning, good afternoon, good night. Thank you
Bye-bye.
so much for your support. See you all again. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.